Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 83. I'm your host, back in the basement to talk about a bunch of wrestling. I watched a lot this week. My co-host and teenage son, Jack, you're here.
And I watched little to none.
You watched much less. I don't know. I got into this morning. I watched Impact and then rolled right into Rampage. So,
I decided to make Seth Rollins attire number 5,000. So
number 5,000.
I do have to I have deleted some, to be fair, but I made a new one. But so I feel like I actually have made some nice ones.
And what were you playing? 2K19?
Yes.
Because you can't play 20.
I hate it.
And you're excited for 22 or not?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. The new controls system bugs me because I don't know. It just seems like it's a lot more complicated. And also, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Have people been playing it?
19.
Like, have you read any reviews or anything yet? Like, I don't know.
I think it's supposed to come out in March. I'm not sure. Like, I'm kind of screwed for this year because there's that coming out soon. Then I think in April or something, there's the Lego Star Wars game.
Right.
And then it's possible by the end of the year we get Jedi Fallen Order 2, which
Save your
I
money.
would love. And also, I think it would work better if I had a new Xbox, but that's like stupid.
Expensive, yeah.
So I'm not sure what to do.
They'll still be for whatever Xbox you have, aren't they?
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like it's getting to that point where like on Xbox 360 where like 2K was just getting like not like I don't think it's like quite that bad anymore, but like I still think I feel like it's getting to the point where it's not. Maybe I'll start encountering issues and whatnot, you know what I mean? I feel like it's starting to get to the end of the road, so to speak.
Yep, save your money.
Yeah, maybe not like a rush, maybe like I don't know, like what I'm trying to curious about is like should I like get these like new games, right, which are like probably better off on the new consoles, but like should I be getting them for the new consoles and just stocking them, you know what I mean? Or like should I be getting them from, you know?
Aren't they playable? Aren't they backwards compatible? Like if you buy it for the new system, won't it play on the Xbox you have?
No, you can also get them on the current one, I think. But I'm just saying like so then like when I get the new one or like
no.
If I'm getting the new one, am I getting the game again?
Well, yeah, and then by then hopefully they're really cheap because they're old. Right?
Yeah.
That's the plan.
I don't know.
Stay one system behind and 1 year of games behind. That's my cheap rule of thumb that you don't like.
I want to try to have the new one at least for Jedi Fallen Order 2 because I want that game to be as clean as possible. Love that game.
Yes.
The first one.
How long's it been in between versions of that? Years, it feels
2019.
Like. So a couple of years. 3 years?
Yeah.
Nice.
And I don't even know if it's coming out this year. I hope so. I think so, but
yeah.
I don't know.
And so what else was exciting this week? We had a bus cancellation day on Thursday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was on your birthday, too.
That's right. It was a birthday present to me. None of us had to leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was weird because that was the day I think we were supposed to have freezing rain and whatnot, and we didn't really. And then you actually had school on Friday, but it was worse than it was on Thursday for a lot of people.
Yeah,
so.
The walk to school was awful.
Treacherous.
By after school, they've, like, plowed the sidewalks and whatnot. But, like, the way there was not pleasant.
Yeah, I think it was actually worse on Friday when buses weren't canceled. And now due to hybrid learning, so students can learn online, they just close schools. It's come full circle. It used to be get to school, and now it's like school's not even open, don't come. So that's kind of nice for students and teachers, I guess, probably.
For sure.
But yeah, anything else exciting this week? I had a pretty boring week for me. I didn't do much. Went to work, came home.
I don't know. Week didn't start out very good, but kind of
got better.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know, but it's been going by good, so
yeah, we're over halfway through your grade 9 year.
So
you're on the downside of the hill to summer now.
Yeah, I'm
which
just
is
kind
nice.
of hoping it goes by for the next couple months at least, and then
then you're good to go.
Yeah.
And then we can get the pool open and enjoy outside in a few months. Would be nice too.
Yes, that too.
I'm looking forward to that for sure, and it would be nice. But anyways, I don't know. I don't have much else for banter.
Things, yeah,
I didn't do anything this week.
No,
so I guess
I live a very nothing life.
Right. Hopefully you get out of the house and go snowboarding tonight would be good.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's possibly right. Anyways, I say we stop boring people and bore them with something else instead. We
yes.
change the boredom. So we'll transition into talking about some wrestling, I guess, eh?
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look at some of the week's news and rumors. All right, so we'll take a look at the ratings, which we'll start it with NXT 2.0. So Tuesday was their Vengeance Day edition, right? So a fairly, by their standards, like stacked show. It drew 525,000 viewers, which is up a pretty large 31.25%. earned them a .11 in the 18 to 49 demo, which was up 57.14. So it was still the second lowest audience of the year. But again, it's been bumped to just sci-fi due to the Olympics. So they're not. I don't think that these numbers are completely unexpected or should really be read into too much, because they're just on sci-fi due to the Olympics. So I guess bottom line is they were up significantly from the week before when they were also just on sci-fi. Mm-hmm. And then you have Wednesday's live Dynamite episode drew 869,000 viewers, which is down 23.02%. And got a .31 in the key demo, down 24.39%. So this was the lowest audience and key demo rating since the move to TBS. I don't know, were there any major things they were promoting on this show this week? Because last week it was Punk MJF, right?
No. No, last week it was Hangman Archer.
Oh, right, sorry, that's what it was, which was, I thought, pretty awesome. But anyways, so solid numbers for Dynamite, but down, and just down overall for NXT because of their positioning right now due to the Olympics. But anyways, nothing too exciting there. What do you have for us?
Kind of like I feel like it's a matter of time thing. Undertaker is going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame this year, so
I thought I saw a whole bunch of people reacting to that already. Is it not officially announced?
No, it is. I'm just saying it's been like a matter of time.
Oh, kinda. Yes, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. At least they're going with someone who's actually like
alive.
Earned it. Yeah, and like earned it.
Yeah, and like they're.
Sometimes they struggle with that. I feel like generally they do it well, but I feel like sometimes they struggle with that.
He might not be my favorite person, but yeah, he's undoubtedly, like, as they say, like, first ballot Hall of Famer, right? Like, he's
for sure.
He's no doubter. So I had to sort of revise this one, right? Because you were filling me in this morning, but initially Booker T confirmed that Roxy, who's like a former trainee of his, had signed with WWE, but you were telling me, and then I looked, he sort of walked those statements back now. And I mean, my assumption is that basically he's right, but that WWE, because you know how they like to release their, here's our next round of signees sort of thing for the training center or whatever, the performance center. So I think my guess would be she probably has signed and they're just not ready to announce it yet. So he sort of had to be like, whoops, sorry, maybe she hasn't signed, sort of thing, right?
Yeah, I could be like, he's just trying to cover his tracks
right
now.
Because I imagine she would have straight up told him, right? I would think that's the relationship they have, but I could be wrong. But again, she started training with Booker T at 13 years old as part of a fantasy camp. So if she has signed, I'm kind of happy and sad for her, right? Because that's probably her goal. Everyone's goal is to get to WWE for the most part. And she'll probably make some decent money, but she's super talented. I just don't have much confidence, right, that WWE is going to do anything useful with her. And my take would probably be she can work there for a few years, make some decent money, and then go somewhere.
Right, how old is she again?
I think she's 19 or 20. Right. So she can cash in WWE and then do something rewarding after that if she wants to, I guess. That's sort of how it seems these days, right?
Yeah, it would definitely work for her rather than others.
Yeah, so she could go there, take advantage of all the training and stuff that WWE has, and then get out of there in a few years, hopefully. But anyways, good for her, I guess. But maybe it didn't even happen, I guess, according to Booker T.
So on Rampage, they added Hangman and Cole and Baker versus Rosa for the world and women's titles, respectively. Right. So, I mean, Rosa Baker kind of surprises me that they're already kind of going with that.
Yeah, because I think I've been saying it forever, that's the money match, and I don't feel the build.
That's what I was thinking.
There, right?
I was
so
like,
far.
I guess it is. It has been almost a year since Baker. She won at Double or Nothing, which would be late spring.
But it seems like it's just intermittently. I don't know. I feel like there's not enough focus on that division, right? So I sort of lose track of it.
Yeah,
maybe.
that's what I'm thinking. Like Baker's run has felt very like
sporadic. I don't know if that's the right word, but
or I don't know, just not what it's actually been.
Right. It maybe. They need some more focus. They need to build a whole bunch of women, right? I feel like, because it's kind of like, I don't know, if the division itself is strong, that makes the champions even stronger, right? If you're the champion of a really strong division, where I wouldn't say I'd put it at a super strong division yet, maybe getting better, but anyways. What did I have? Candice LeRae, Johnny Gargano celebrated their birth of their son. Did you hear the name?
I did. Quill.
Quill.
My guess is Peter Quill. From Guardians.
Oh, probably.
Because Gargano.
Yeah, you're right. Marvel Universe.
That's my best guess. Otherwise, it's like kind of a weird name.
Yeah, so, I bet you're right.
No, just knowing Gargano.
So I'm wondering if at some point, because we still don't really know what he's doing, right, contractually.
Yeah, it's been
so
since December.
I'm hoping he gets to spend some time with the newborn and then maybe announce their decision, make their decision. I don't know, maybe it's not even made yet. But anyways, congratulations to them, and hopefully everything goes well and we see Candice and Gargano wrestling somewhere of note soon.
So Tony Khan has announced he's currently working on something massive for AEW.
I saw
and he
that
says
too.
there will be a lot of news in the week ahead. I'm not sure what this is, but that's interesting.
Yeah, and it leads me to believe it's not necessarily a signing, because I feel like he would make that a little more clear. So I don't know, is it something about, last time it was something like the Owen Hart thing, right?
Right.
So maybe something like that, or maybe it, like selfishly, we're always hoping for the announcement of trios championships, right? That would be,
that actually could fit here.
right? That
could fit.
I think I suggested in the AEW review this week that why not have Santana Ortiz and Eddie Kingston get in the trios?
If Death Triangle's good to go, always Death Triangle, please.
True.
Or Undisputed Era.
Yep, but you got tons of options, right? So hopefully they'll figure something out. What was I going to say next? 205 Live. I don't know. Did we mention it last week that it was rebranded and is NXT Level Up?
Maybe.
I think you might have.
But we'll talk about it. Why not?
But I did check it out. I'm not going to talk about it because it was what we expected, right? It's the NXT of NXT, which NXT is bad enough without seeing like the bottom layer of NXT have its own show kind of thing. Like the main event had Kushida in it and Inafe, but
from what they posted, I can't tell if Inafe won or lost. I think Inafe won, but
so I only watched the Harland Javier Bernal match, which was what you would think it was.
He had like super long hair. They made him cut it to.
Oh, Bernal.
Yeah.
And then it was Ivy Nile and someone I'd never heard of, Tatum Paxley, against Kayla Inlay, who's I think had one jobber match.
Paxley did this weird looking move that looked kind of cool. It's like the standing like.
Who, Tatum
floating
Paxley?
bro, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that kind of deal.
And
I think.
And Fallon Henry, who played a bartender on NXT this week. But anyways, I checked out the show. It was not really anything that felt like we need to see, because I was hoping, maybe it's really cool and it'll be like an hour-long show that I enjoy watching. It was not. It just felt like
it's just them like
dark
continuing.
for NXT.
It's NXT dark,
right?
Like, which is what 205 Live was. It's just now they're getting rid of the 205 Live moniker because they don't need it.
Right. So it's some of the less
because it doesn't make sense anymore.
Less experienced NXT members getting some time.
Like a lot of jobbers. Like I don't think Bernal's getting on NXT much. You know what I mean? Or,
I don't think so either.
Like Inafe's not winning on NXT. Or
well, in the tag team he is.
Yeah, but that's gone. So I think
it is done
only. Now. And like but it's basically just it's like I feel like it's worse than Dark though, because I feel like Dark's got like more big names. Like I feel like this is where like. So, like, Inafe's a jobber on the main show, but then he wins here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that.
Yep.
So, whereas I feel like Dark, it's, like, usually, like, there's, like, sometimes it's timely people. There's, like, people like the Acclaimed who maybe it's too busy on Dynamite for them, but then, like, they can at least still be wrestling.
And
like,
some brand new people that you don't see on the other
sometimes
rosters,
new people,
right?
exactly, like Tony Nese or Daivari.
Right.
Like, I feel like Dark is at least still above Level Up.
I wasn't impressed. I'll put it that. It was nothing I need to go back and see. I don't.
Yeah, think. it's gonna be the same as 205. It's just they're getting rid of because the 205 name means nothing.
Pointless at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So per Dave Meltzer, AEW are close to signing Shane Strickland and Jeff Hardy.
Yeah,
they're expected to come.
I just finished watching Rampage, and there's a segment where Jade Cargill wants her next opponent, and Matt Hardy comes out, and bottom line, it's going to be Bunny, and then he does like the extreme with the hand jet. He uses the word extreme. It's about to get extreme or something with the hand gestures. Yeah, and
I also thought Christian, when he was in his promo, he was in the battle, when they were talking about the Battle Royals, he was like, there's coming changes in the tag division, which kind of got me worried about Hardy Boys.
As long as they're there to do like one final run and put people, I don't really either, but
I don't even really need that. I feel like I don't know. I just don't need. If Jeff Hardy's, especially if he's not wearing face paint, if he's not wearing face paint, stop wasting my time. Like, come on.
I'm more excited about Swerve for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know where he fits in exactly, but he's awesome. So
I'm telling you, I don't care what it is. They need another mid card title. The roster's too much for. Like, I feel like the TNT title is just like. There's so many people who are like good, and like sometimes there's meaningful feuds like Punk MJF or something, but like I feel like there's a lot of the time there's not enough for some of the mid-card people to do. And, like, I feel like they need another title. I'm not sure if you want to go, like, an Intercontinental title or something, because I don't think there's a lot of those. I think it's WWE now, because remember New Japan's is gone now?
Yes.
So they need something. I feel like TNT title is a TV title, so that problem is solved. And then they just need something else, because, like, there's a lot of people, even with them, like, kind of letting some people run out, there's still a lot.
They have a very full roster for sure. Yeah. What else do I have? Ring of Honor confirmed, so it looks like they aren't just disappearing. They are coming back to touring apparently after Supercard of Honor, which is on April 1st. And there's
April Fool. Oh wait, what if they pull April Fools?
Interesting. I never noticed that. Could be. And apparently their official website notes that fans are going to have a huge say in booking Supercard of Honor and a quote unprecedented level of fan engagement will be a key component of the new era of Ring of Honor. So I don't know if that's, I don't know. Remember when WWE came out and said that the general manager is you, and then that lasted like 2 weeks. Do you remember that?
I do not.
You don't, when they were like, it's all about you now, and that was their new whole thing. Like, you're the authority figure
after
or whatever.
Corbin?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. No, I remember.
So hopefully this is more legitimate, and maybe fans have they're gonna have voting or stuff. It seems quite possibly. But anyways, I guess we'll see where it goes. Good news that it looks like Ring of Honor is coming back, unless you're right about it being an April Fool's.
That would be funny. There's also a movie coming out then, so
yeah.
Morbius.
Nice. What else you got?
So Cody Rhodes spotted at a European airport heading to Elimination Chamber 2022?
Good for him. Yeah, probably. Who cares? Did we? I think we talked about it.
It just feels like one of those things where it's like people are like, oh my god, this is like kind of connected. Like, or people were like that with Garfield and Maguire.
Yeah.
Heading into Spider-Man.
It's clickbait, right?
Cool.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And we
Probably
talked about
not.
Cody last week, right? He's apparently... I still don't know. Like, apparently all signs are he's going to WWE. Weird. I'm still like, why would he... I guess for money is the point, probably, but...
Yeah, I don't care, really, but... I mean, if he's doing something, that's good. Brandy doesn't need to do anything.
I heard she may not be part of the package. It might just be Cody and that Brandy's not... We'll see. I still personally don't think he's going to sign there at all, but it looks like I'm going to be wrong. Last bit of news I have is the 2021 Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards came out, and I think they agreed with us on a lot of things. So just to summarize, AEW dominated the awards voted on by the readers, right? So not just Meltzer or whatever picking, it's the readers voting. And WWE was pretty much shut out from any of the positive awards. The only positive awards that went to anything WWE were Gimmick of the Year, which was Roman Reigns, which is probably fair, right? Like, he had a pretty cool...
Yeah.
Non-Wrestler of the Year. Could you guess who that would be? It's from WWE.
No, I don't. I have no idea.
Heyman.
Oh, yeah.
And most underrated wrestler is Ricochet. So everything else pretty much went to AEW, like Promotion of the Year, Show of the Year, etc., etc. And then in the negative categories, guess what? WWE won almost all of them, including Worst Promotion, Worst Television Show for Raw, Worst Major Wrestling Show, which I think we agreed, right? Survivor Series 2021.
Oh, yes, that was so bad.
Worst Television Announcer, Corey Graves. Most disgusting promotional tactic, which I think is awesome that they did that, and they chose WWE firing wrestlers during the pandemic while setting record profits.
Yeah.
Very good. Worst match of the year, Damian Priest versus The Miz zombie match.
Yeah.
Which I think was that ours, or it was at least a nominee, right? I might have chosen it, actually. It was
in there somewhere.
Worst feud of the year, Randy Orton, Fiend, Alexa Bliss.
You could go for that for worst match too, the Mania one.
Oh, yeah.
Or the Fastlane one.
And worst gimmick was Alexa Bliss. So I think those are all pretty fair choices by the readers.
Yeah, nothing we would disagree with.
No, nothing at all. That is all I have for news. Do you have anything else?
If we're continuing on releases, they released Carlos Cabrera. Sound familiar?
Oh, the announcer?
Yeah, Spanish announcer.
Spanish commentary?
He's been with them for almost 30 years.
Interesting. That's too bad.
Oh, and Tegan Knox thinks the Divas era is coming back, and she was kind of released because of that.
Kind of feels like there's not... It's definitely a far cry from the women's revolution, right? Like, it seems like they're kind of backsliding.
They're not necessarily, stepping back right now. They're just not getting better.
They're not
They're kind of backpedaling.
they're not really focusing on the super strong wrestlers, right? Like, I don't know, unless Asuka comes back and they start using her or something, but I guess we'll see.
Mm-hmm. And then there in the House of Black segment, there was someone knocking on the door at the end, and Buddy Matthews has been discussed.
Ooh, I'm fine with that.
Which
You
I find
you
very
definitely
interesting because he feuded
Have
with
they
Black
worked? Right, they were like
in WWE.
right.
Yeah, they feuded.
What about in the Indies?
They had a match on the Indies too.
Right,
I don't know
that's
what
what I
happened
thought.
after, but I very much like that. I find it ironic he's knocking on the door again.
Those three against Death Triangle would be
He's knocking on the door
right.
again. I'm pretty sure that's what he did last time too.
Well, remember they pretty much brought Black's gimmick over intact and just made it cooler. Like
Yeah.
even the eye thing started in WWE, I think.
Yeah.
So
Except now it's just like face paint.
right, your favorite.
Yes. And I'm good.
All right, so let's move into talking about our first of the weekly programs we look at, and that's taking a look at this week's AEW Dynamite.
So we start off with the Punk promo almost immediately, like no entrance. He's just sitting in the ring with a box, cross-legged.
Right.
Pipe
Yep.
bomb. Punk told us his name. He says he's drug-free, he's alcohol-free, and that means he's better than you. Punk said he spoke those words for the first time over 20 years ago, and they became the foundation of his career. Punk said he can feel pride knowing that some wrestlers in the next generation became wrestlers like him, and some of them even said like Punk does. Punk mentions MJF, and Punk said that MJF can never think like him. Punk said when MJF beat Punk in his hometown, you'd think Punk would be furious or mad, but
Twice.
he said...
He did say it.
Yep. He said he's proud of MJF. Punk said that MJF is crappy little Max from Little Long Island. And he said because of last week, thanks to John Moxley for the assist, Punk gets to pick the time, the place, the date, and the match for his rematch with Little Maxwell.
Mm-hmm.
He said it will be at Revolution on March 6th in Orlando. Punk talked about the match type, noting that if it was a cage match, then that MJF could still run away and someone could climb in. He said he's won more cage matches than he's lost, and losing got him thinking about one of the toughest matches he's ever lost, which I didn't know he had one of these.
Me either.
He said losing a tough match is when you really learn. And he said he talked about matches where he literally left pieces of himself in the ring. That's literally.
Like Mick Foley left his ear in the ring that one time.
Punk said that Piper had his question, and then Punk asked MJF if he would be Punk's Valentine while holding a dog collar chain, so they're going to have a dog collar match.
Yeah.
Punk said that sometimes you need to be taught a lesson. Punk called for MJF to come out there so he can tell him something to his face, and then MJF does come out and stands on the stage, and Punk is still seated. And he shows a picture of when MJF met Punk at an autograph signing when MJF was a little child.
Yeah, it was cool.
Punk said it was possibly MJF's greatest day of his life, and to Punk, it was just Friday. Punk said that on March 6th is going to be the worst day of MJF's life, and the canvas won't be stained by MJF's spray tan, it'll be stained by his blood. And he put the dog collar chain around his neck while fans chanted for him, and then MJF was like about to speak, but then he just went to the back.
Yeah, not my favorite type of match. I generally don't love when people are attached to each other for matches by any means, but anyways, they'll pull it off. I liked, I thought the start to Punk's promo was good, and then it kind of lost me in the middle. I felt like it lost steam with the whole, like, reminiscing about his greatest matches and Piper stuff, but I was starting to hope MJF would interrupt, actually, and then he did, and then I thought once Punk pulled out the picture of MJF as a kid with Punk, it got interesting again, and he picked up his intensity. And I think, like, MJF having nothing to say, right, is a pretty big win for Punk in, like, a promo battle because it's MJF, and he always has a ton to say. So the fact that he got MJF basically speechless is a win. So then what I'm hoping is if they let Punk win the verbal battle, can they find a way, do you think, to let MJF win again? In a rematch?
Sorry, taking a sip.
That's fine.
I think they could. I'm not sure which way they're going to go. I could see it working either way.
Because I don't know. I would love that they continue to build MJF super strong. Even if he has to cheat again, I don't really care. Because I think we keep saying he's kind of the guy I would have take the title from Paige eventually, right?
Yeah, and I think he can always cheat. But at the same time, I feel like cheating just leaves the door open for, like, a decisive match. You know what I mean?
And AEW, like, I
guess you can't really cheat in a dog collar match, though, because there's not really, like,
find a way.
rules.
No, that's true. It wouldn't technically
be cheating.
cheating.
Be cheating. It would just be underhanded, rather.
Yeah, you're right. And I think they could, AEW could sort of differentiate themselves from WWE again, because WWE would book this even Steven.
They have to either go 50-50 booking,
right,
or they do like a back and forth trilogy.
Right. That's so I feel like this is an opportunity to like not do that.
And I mean, sometimes that's good, but like
yeah.
I do think it's an opportunity for them to.
And I don't think it would kill Punk to lose again.
It's MJF.
Right. So I don't know. That's what I would like to see happen. But anyways, I ended up thinking this was a pretty strong segment to start the show, and not knowing it was going to be an hour of mostly talking in this first hour, right? But I thought this was good.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty strong promo, but I didn't like. I liked how they cut right to the chase. I didn't think it was one of his strongest, but I think it was good because I don't think it started off the best, but it grew into itself.
Yep, I liked it by the end too. There was moments where I was kind of like, okay, get to the point, but then it did pick up at the end.
For sure. I think they've had better segments, Punk and MJF, but I think it could have benefited from some words from JF, but I also think it's kind of like Punk got the upper hand here, which I thought was kind of cool as well. I hope that MJF does pick up another win at Revolution, clean or not. I would kind of like clean because I feel like that boosts MJF more, and then also that can be like a definitive end to this as well. But I'm really not sure which way they're going to go with this. They could totally go either way.
Agree.
Dog collar match isn't my favorite stipulation or anything, but I guess it's kind of like one of those classic ones, and the last one I think they did was good. And I think there's kind of like, this makes sense because like now MJF can't really run that far, which is
that definitely
actually
makes sense.
has been the thing.
Yep.
So I think that's actually like at least a good use of the stipulation.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? Because he's been all about just running away. And I feel
like the whole thing, like no interference cage thing, is kind of done to death, especially when the cage purposely does not have a roof.
And people keep getting in it, right?
If the cage has a roof, then sure.
What Punk was saying made sense for sure, I thought.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next we get a quick Mox Danielson package. It's just highlights from the promo last week, and then also the Rampage thing with Lee Moriarty kind of spliced together.
Right.
For the match in a bit. It was nothing new, but
I love that
solid
segment.
Package, I think.
Last week I loved it, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I didn't mind seeing a recap.
Mm-hmm. Or it was 2 weeks ago. Sorry.
Was it? Sorry.
Yeah, because last week was Mox and Punk.
Oh, right.
So yeah, my bad. Next we get Jurassic Express interview. It's mentioned that their match at Revolution is going to be a triple threat tag match for the title, so that's kind of cool, something new.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be matches in the coming weeks to determine the opponents. I think first spot next week will be determined in a Battle Royal, and then a Casino Royale next week, which is a tag team. So a tag team Rumble kind of.
Do both have to get eliminated?
Are they going to do suits? I think. Huh?
Do both have to get eliminated? Or does one go and you both go?
I think that's usually.
I can't remember. Have they done it before?
I think. Well, they've done tag battle royale before.
Right.
I know WWE always goes. I always like keeping like you have to get rid of both, because then what if like one person just hangs on and then manages to win it for both?
Yeah, and I think it opens up more stories and stuff too.
Yeah, you have to like say two people from tag teams are up against one full tag team, right? Like stuff like that.
Yep.
But anyways, I think that was cool. And then the baby faces just say they'll beat whoever they face. They didn't really do much.
Let me ask you. I got questions this week. How do you feel about Jurassic Express title run so far? Like
mediocre.
Yeah,
it's been a lot of Rampage. Where have they been on Diamond? No segments or anything.
Right, and that's kind of what I was getting at too. Like I don't feel like they've done much for the tag titles, right? Like I almost forget they're champions sometimes, and that's not good.
Because they should be good tag champions.
Sure, and this division is stacked, right? So I do like Jurassic Express's matches almost every time, right? But I don't think that they're like the flagship team representing that division right now. It doesn't feel that they've been presented that way. I don't know if it's their fault or whose fault it is, but like kind of a lackluster tag champion for me so far.
Yeah, and I did not like Christian again. Like I don't know, I just don't really need him. And the one thing he said about changes in the tag division worried me about Hardy Boys. Yeah, coming to the fray.
I think they are.
I'll talk more about these later because as they kind of planted a seed in my head for this match, which not Hardy Boys, but something kind of interesting, and I think they could pull this off really well, depending on how it goes. So I'm wondering, do you think whoever's not winning next week's match goes in the Casino Royale?
Winning with next week's which match?
So next week is the Battle Royal, right? And so the winners of that get one slot in the title match. So do you think for the Casino Royale, which determines the second number one contenders, do you think that's just like all the people who didn't win the first one? It's just a second chance match?
I hadn't thought about it. I guess it could be.
Right? Like I don't think they have enough tag teams to sustain like different rosters for both.
Sets of...
And honestly, I'm okay with that. Like
could
I feel
be,
like then I don't think it really matters, but who wins which, but still, like I don't know, I feel like it could.
It might be what they do. They do have a lot of tag teams. I don't know if they have enough to do qualifying matches for everything, but I guess we'll see. I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it, to be honest.
Yeah, because I'm thinking in, like, let's say final team that last, like, the runner-up team in the Battle Royal gets the last entry spot in the, or like one of the last spots. Like, I don't know if there's going to be a Joker team. Oh, the Hardy Boys are going to be the Joker team.
Probably, right? You just broke that news here, I would imagine.
Damn it. Why did I say that?
It seems like
if there's a Joker team. That's usually how it goes.
Because Jeff can come anytime or not? He was released, so he'll have a no compete. How long
ago was he released, though?
I don't know.
I feel like it's been a bit.
It has been a bit, at least.
I want to say he at least got released in the fall. I think he's good because in March something, he's indie wrestling with Matt.
Right.
So I don't know if that applies.
Probably. I don't
know. So I think he is.
Sure feels like he's coming.
That sucks. Anyways, we're going to go to our opener match.
Yeah.
Because not an opener. The opener was the Punk thing.
It sure was.
Danielson versus Lee Moriarty in a technically sound enhancement match.
Enhancement match, Lee Moriarty. Take that.
Mm-hmm. I would say it was pretty much.
It was pretty competitive. I don't know.
No, competitive one for sure.
Yeah.
So early on, one of the things was like he paintbrushed him, which is just like kind of a slap.
Slapped him real hard. Yeah.
And then later on, surfboard stretch by Danielson, but then he kind of like puts him back on his knees and then does like a dragon sleeper from the surfboard stretch, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Until Moriarty counters out, and then Danielson needs to get rope break. Some corner uppercuts by Moriarty. There's an interesting kind of like technical back and forth after a commercial break, and then they're both upside down on their heads.
Oh yeah, they're like in headstands fighting each other. Yeah.
It feels like something Matt Sydal would do because yoga.
It was pretty contrived, but it ended up being a unique little spot, right?
Yeah, it was interesting. There's a strike exchange until Moriarty gets a backside pin for 2. Moriarty locks in a Gargano escape, because I forgot what they called it.
Right.
And Danielson counters it with a pin, but Moriarty hangs on, so he does like this suplex thing to get out, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
Then he hits his signature, like, I think it's the shotgun knee or whatever, Busaiko knee. There it is.
It looked
I don't know
good,
how to spell it, but... and then the wrist capture stomps, and then he transitions into a triangle choke for no reason, just flexing.
Yeah, basically.
And he gets the win. So Brian does a promo. He taught Lee Moriarty about violence. He asked if they thought Lee learned, and the crowd was kind of mixed. And Brian ripped on them. And then Brian said he approached Jon Moxley with an offer to team up to teach wrestlers about violence. And he wants an answer from Moxley, who then comes out. Moxley said a little over a decade ago, he was like a lot of kids in the AEW locker room now. He was young, angry, he was poor, and he had nothing to lose. Mox said he took a shot at taking down the great American Dragon, Danielson. He talks about how they had a match, how he had a match with Brian in Ohio, and Brian was late due to the weather, so they had Tracy Smothers entertain the fans. Mox says it was the first time they met, where Moxley got to stand face to face against the man they called the best in the world. Mox said he came up short, but getting a taste of the best made him want more. Mox said that every single time he faced Danielson, probably WWE, he came up short, and he said he's never actually beaten Danielson. He said when he came to AEW, he thought he could slay the one dragon he wanted to slay, the American Dragon. Moxley said Danielson doesn't want to fight because he wants to join forces with them. He talked about how awesome it could be if they fought together, and Moxley said they could create a dynasty of pure wrestling violence. Moxley said they could create something together by bringing young guys and leaving a legacy. Mox said he couldn't think of one good reason to say no, and he said maybe Brian wanted to fight with him because he doesn't want to be against him, and that leads him to say Brian didn't want Moxley to do to him what he's done to everybody else for the last 3 years. He wondered, did Danielson want to be his partner because of what they can create, or because Danielson doesn't want to be destroyed? He said he's not saying yes and he's not saying no, and he'll leave it up to Brian. And he said he doesn't stand side by side with nobody until he bleeds with them first.
Nice.
Very nice. Thoughts on the match and the promo?
I really enjoyed the match, and I think it ended up being my favorite match on the show. I think I liked it more than you did.
No, I liked it.
I could literally watch Danielson wrestle a broomstick at this point, right? Like, I think his value to this company is huge because he's training with people and helping them out. Like, I know he's working with Jade Cargill and probably a bunch of others, and he can basically lead anyone to an excellent match. I thought this was by far my favorite Moriarty. Like, I haven't seen a ton of him, but it's one of those, I was telling you at the time, like, it's kind of like the Daniel Garcia, right? Where I hear how amazing he is and I'm kind of waiting to see it, but I thought he looked really good in this match. Like, he had lots of counters for most of Danielson's offense, right? Which is a feather in his cap for sure. So yeah, by far my favorite Moriarty. I thought the finish made Danielson look vicious. And he's just having a run for me right now that's up there with my all-time favorites. Like everything he's doing is just hitting huge for me. The promo afterwards, I thought Mox was absolutely fantastic in this. Like this was for me peak Mox. He made it.
I kind of just like, I feel like now he's just been consistently good. I just kind of forget about it, but he's still one of my favorites. I've loved the guy since
all of his promos are really good. I thought this one was
I should
excellent.
still love him a lot, and I do, because I liked Dean Ambrose even
when he was your favorite,
even when he got crappy.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I love that promo too.
And he had a great entrance. The crowd was going crazy for him, and I liked all the backstory about him and Danielson. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. It sounded true, right? And the detail about Mox never beating Danielson, that's a nice touch too. And it doesn't. People can go back and it turns out it's not. It doesn't really matter if it's true, right? It doesn't have to be. This is just adding it, making it more compelling. If it really is true, great. If not, it doesn't really bother me. I just thought he was awesome here and is really, and I think they're smart to sort of push the decision another week, right? Like we still get to sort of, it certainly seems like Mox isn't going to join with Danielson, but that door is not completely closed. It sounds like maybe he wants to fight him first to get that question out of the way, because that would answer the question, right? If he's like,
if Danielson's still after him,
agrees
after
to
that,
have a match, and then we'll worry about, like, that would be
if Danielson still wants it after, if it is what Mox says it is,
right? So I thought it was fantastic, good match, and an awesome promo.
Yeah, one thing I just saw. So you know how in Saudi Arabia the women always have to cover up. So Ronda wore like I don't know, like judo or whatever, like the gi. So I thought that was kind of clever.
Yes, we are recording as whatchamacallit, Blood Money is happening.
Blood Money,
whatever it's called. I don't know.
Nice. Elimination Chamber.
Right, that one.
Nice. I think it was a pretty good match, all things considered. I would have much preferred them to stick this as the opener. I think it would have benefited from going on first. And I just think that I would have liked that better personally. But I enjoyed it for what it was, for sure. They struck a nice balance between Danielson controlling it and then Moriarty getting in some offense. I would have liked him for him to either get like a bit more offense or like some more interesting moves. I feel like he could have done maybe
Danielson or
Moriarty.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he could have done some more interesting things with what he got, but I think he was still good for what he got for sure. And Danielson undoubtedly made him look the best he's ever looked in AEW before, because
they almost seem kind of similar, almost, right? A little bit.
Whether it's Moriarty adapting to the style or not,
right?
Like
still, it's like it's Brian Danielson from like 15 years ago or something, like at the beginning of his career. Yeah, exactly. Right. But yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, for sure. Danielson killed him at the end, but that's just kind of what you sign on for if you're enhancing Brian Danielson.
Yeah.
I think the Mox promo after was awesome. I think he spoke great, just made sense from top to bottom. I like that they did a really cool job of helping the storyline move along while also keeping it still, because it's kind of moving forward, but yet the status quo remains the same because Mox still has not answered.
And Mox suggesting the idea of maybe you want to join with me because you're afraid of me.
Brings in something right again, moving it forward, because it could allow us to get this kind of dream match, so to speak, but also like them in alliance. There's potential for the best of both worlds, because maybe it is like Danielson still wants it, then they team up after this match, right?
Well,
like
it's kind of like
both worlds.
Whatever the payoff is, I'm going to be happy.
Yeah,
if they join forces, fine. If they have a match and don't join forces, fine. If they have a match and do join forces, fine. Like
I feel like in typical WWE, the blow off would have been this week, or actually,
we would have already been through it.
Would have been last week, yeah.
We would have moved on.
Decided, yeah. But I think this is building really nicely. I like how it's kind of stayed still, but also moving forward in a way. Like I think they did a really cool job with that.
I agree.
Next, we get a quick promo from Keith Lee. He says it was only a matter of time, and the anticipation was tangible. He says he has arrived and he is qualified for the ladder match, and they did not save the best for last. He says when he tells you he's coming to make a statement, he does. Last week was phase 1, ladder match is phase 2. When he is done, the TNT title will be his. 2 belts.
Yeah, I feel like his delivery is a little bit different from last time I saw him. And I liked it better.
This. Yeah,
me too.
So that's what I was saying. Because I feel like he was generally like okay on the mic. I could think he was like
there
good,
was
but like
something about his delivery bugged me in WWE.
Yeah, and sometimes I feel like it was just off and sometimes shaky. But I think this was really good. I liked it.
Like I thought the content was pretty generic, but like his delivery was better. I agree than what I am used to seeing
for whatever
from
it was. I definitely like this a lot better than
me too.
Him before. Yeah, it was good. It was a quick one too. I don't think this needed to be long. So
no, not at all. It was just an intro to him speaking, right? So I thought it was totally fine.
Next we get Wardlow versus Max Caster in a Face of the Revolution ladder match qualifier squash.
Face of the Revolution ladder match. I find that lengthy. a big
Yeah, why can't you just call it like Revolution Ladder match
something.
or like
Is it the Sonic Ring match?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yep. Beautiful.
And a squash, except there was a rap at the beginning.
Yeah, it was good.
That's the only thing that makes it different. And even though I guess the match itself is the same.
For us, I don't know if it's all of Canada or just us, but in a relatively short match like this, we don't get picture in picture, right? So we're missing a very decent percentage of the match, which probably hurts it for us a bit.
That more, for sure.
It comes up. We'd get zero picture in picture right now for us.
Right. I feel like they need to, like, even if you are getting picture in picture, it's still not the same. So, like, I feel like they should pace commercial breaks better if they can. If they can help it, they should definitely be pacing these better, whether it's TSN or TNT.
Because there's a couple times on this show where I feel like we missed a chunk, right, of a match.
Yeah, I would like either like before segments or like within a lengthy match or like when they know there's going to be a lull. I don't know. They should just be pacing these better,
Time it for somebody's entrance, like the less important person's entrance or something. You know?
Right.
So that we come back and they're in the ring. And
you could, yeah.
Yeah, anyways.
Like Wardlow's entrance, boom, roasted.
Because it's not like we always watch through the commercials, but sometimes I will if it's a good match or entertaining, or sometimes I'll fast forward really slowly so we can still see what's kind of happening, right? But we don't have that option. So.
Yeah. So post-commercial break, Caster gets out of a powerbomb with the chain-assisted punch.
Like, right, he just has a chain after the commercial.
Where did that come from?
Right.
Behind the ref's back, and he falls with the mic drop, which is just an elbow drop for 2. Wardlow uses Caster to knock Bones off the apron and then hits a powerbomb and 2 more powerbombs. You know the deal. He gets the win. He's in the ladder match. Post-match, Bones attacks Wardlow, just turns it around, and then powerbombs him too.
Right.
It was just a standard squash. The rap was nice to see. And I found it interesting because Hobbs on Rampage also qualified for this.
He did. It's all powerhouses.
Exactly.
It's in my notes later. Yeah.
I think there's still a few spots, so hopefully we get less. So, or there's just a big man ladder match. That'd be kind of interesting.
That would be weird.
I mean, Keith Lee is like different, but he's still a big guy.
I was surprised because you figure Dante Martin's like a perfect fit, right? But nope, loses to Hobbs.
That's true.
And Spears did the thing at this where as Wardlow's climbing the ropes celebrating, right? Spears does the chair attack to sort of annoy Wardlow, basically. We seem to be the only people that I see that aren't like loving this. People seem to be loving this Wardlow squash every week.
I don't like, even like the first time.
He's getting the Batista build. That's fine, but I mean, does it have to? Was
Batista this boring? I don't think so.
Does it have to be the same every week, right? Like
I don't know because I didn't actually watch it, but I don't think Batista's this boring.
It's just the same thing every week. And yes, Wardlow looks like a dominant monster, but I mean, it's the same thing every week. So okay, it happened again.
Is he going to powerbomb everyone in the ladder match at the same time? No.
And I guess he's slowly working his way up the ranks because Caster's at least a credible opponent, right? So not a jobber at least. But anyways,
like
we've now talked about it longer than it lasted.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So we should move on then. Quick interview with Britt Baker and co. Martinez says she knows what to do against Rosa, and Baker says no losing this time, and to not forget why she brought in Martinez. And then, in the most random line in the history of ever, she says she's the best squad and the best sensei. Huh? You didn't ask? And the bad sensei guy from Karate Kid, more importantly from Cobra Kai, comes in, because there's a Karate Kid show. So that is something.
I watched episode 1 of Cobra Kai, actually.
Yeah, I don't need to get into it. Like, I think Karate Kid was a good movie back then, and I don't have any interest in any ensuing spin-offs, or like I don't need.
It was more my childhood, right? So I would have that nostalgia.
Right, and even you're not.
No,
after
not super.
that, and like especially my thing is like you're bringing back like the actors for what was it? It was Daniel and who was the bully? Johnny. And then the sensei, Johnny. Like, what is Mr. Miyagi in there? No. Is he dead?
I don't know.
He's probably dead. I don't know. But anyways, like I don't know. I just feel it's like I was watching this video like where he mentioned it, but I remember I used to see ads for it. It was like where they like bring in old TV actors and like to start new like Matt LeBlanc.
Yep.
I forget what his show was called, but it's basically like, hey, remember this TV star, and then you just place them in a new show.
I think it was called Joey.
No, it was something else. It was I don't know. It was like a couple years ago, I think. Or like basically, I just don't like it because it's like you're bringing like the nostalgic people, so to speak, like just to like recognize, and then like.
Well, listen, if it was the show Episodes you're talking about, because he was in that and he played himself, that show's amazing.
I don't know. It was
he played himself as sort of a famous, arrogant, overpaid actor.
It was older. I think it was like
Oh.
Last name's Dan. No.
Anyways.
I don't know. Anyways, this is weird.
Yep.
Is my point.
It was weird. I agree.
Martina says it's time to murder a biatch. She walks off and Baker asks what to do if she loses, and Sensei McGee, I chose to write,
Sure.
says finish her and no mercy. So basically Martina said she's going to murder Rosa, but are they implying that if she does not in fact murder Rosa, they will murder her?
Yes, I think that's basically what they're implying.
Murder.
Wow.
Interesting. Murder him with feet.
I didn't love this segment. I didn't think Mercedes sounded great, and the Karate Kid guy, Sensei McGee, is it? Sorry, I
just said that for no reason.
I don't think he added anything. It felt like one of those desperate.
Should I know his name?
I don't remember. It felt like one of those desperation moves, like, oh, he's some sort of celebrity, so just shoehorn him in here, right?
It's like he's like old, but somehow also current.
And before seeing what happened the rest of the show, my notes say like feels like something's got to give in Britt's group. Does Hayter turn, or it seems like Martinez obviously could fail and be out as well.
Even though they announced,
seems kind of quick.
They revealed this last week.
Right.
They revealed her in this group last week.
And she kind of already has the killer in Hayter in her group already, right? So it's like she's ignoring her and bringing in someone else.
I would rather Martinez in that group than Hayter. I don't even know who Hayter is.
I like Martinez and I like Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa and all of them, but
Hayter.
We'll talk about the match later. I guess.
Hardly know her.
Yeah.
I thought the promo, other than Cobra Kai, was whatever. It was fine, I guess.
Yeah, it was just that just made it strange.
I don't watch Cobra Kai, so I don't care about Sensei Man. I know him from Karate Kid only, and that doesn't mean much to me. So I'm not like, ooh, nostalgia.
No, me either. I didn't really care.
Other than that, it was fine. There's just not really much here.
Nope, I agree.
Hangman Page speaks. So right off the bat, Tan Hands Bebe cuts him off.
What is with his hand?
Oh my god!
I couldn't not look at it.
We'll get it out of the way now, right?
Spray tan hand.
Right, and it's not even like he has
the
spray
extreme.
Tan. He looks normal. It's just his hand, the outside of his hands.
It's like he went to get his whole body spray tanned, and they just put all of it on his hand. Right?
Yeah, it was really weird. It's like his hands are like...
And I think it was both hands, too.
Yeah, no, you could tell on his mic hand, but then when and it's like, he looked normal other than that.
Yeah.
Like, it was really weird.
And you couldn't, because he's holding the microphone, and it's right... You couldn't not focus. I had trouble.
It's like
focusing.
When Cody had the flame retardant.
Yes.
And like they're following.
Like, what is that?
They're following behind him in the crowd.
Right.
You just like it's all you can see.
Yeah.
It's right in plain sight.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was really weird. But anyways, he cuts Hangman off almost right away. Cole tells them to give Page a round of applause, and he has been in some battles against Danielson ×2, Omega, and Archer.
All very good matches.
Yeah, he's talking, I forget what specifically in his mid-sentence, he just tells Shivani to get the hell out.
Yep, of course, somebody has to, right? He is basically useless.
It was pretty funny. He says Hangman has earned the right to call himself world champion. That's kind of how winning the title works, but I mean, sure.
Yep.
And Cole has been champion everywhere he's been. Yeah. Hangman says Cole's friends built a company without him. Yeah, that was pretty inconsiderate of them, if I'm being honest.
Decent point, though.
And it must be weird to stand in the ring with his ROH and Bullet Club buddy and look at the one world title he will never hold. I don't appreciate the sentiment.
I liked this. I liked all of this.
Yeah, but
him.
that implies
Makes
Cole's
sense.
not going to win it, which I don't really appreciate because that's not right.
It's kind of like you always thought you were better than me, and look who got here first and started this, and it has the belt. And while you were in the minor league somewhere else.
Holding the title for a year.
Is what he's saying, yeah.
Cole talks about all of Hangman's broken friendships and mentioned he hasn't been associated with Dark Order in a while.
True.
Which that is true, I think. Not since... I don't know.
It's just this idea, I think, that everybody ends up getting rid of you, right? Like, you're always with people.
I mean, Dark Order didn't even want to do that, but Cole can leave that detail out.
Yep, exactly.
Hangman says he's imperfect, and Cole doesn't have the best friendship record either. That's not very
Also
nice.
true.
Cole says he's known him for over a decade, and anytime they've been together, Hangman has been the other Adam. That is true.
Yep.
Cole plays nice as Hangman looks to fight, and Cole says there's no one he would rather face in AEW. And when they face off 1-on-1 for the title, he says, may the best man win, Adam Cole. Cole's music hits, and he turns his back. He's walking out the ramp, and the music's hitting, and it's over. But no. Redragon are back. More specifically, Kyle O'Reilly is back. And Redragon beat down Hangman before Cole comes back to join in. it's not quite the same, but it kind of reminds me of the old NXT bait and switch with the graphic at the bottom of the screen.
Yes, you used to have to watch to the last second.
Remember TakeOver Chicago, right? That. They played the graphic and then boom, Champ is beating up Gargano.
Loved all that. I thought
this was like akin to that a bit, right? Like they're playing his music and everything, and like he's like, I feel like it'd be different. He's like walking up the ramp and there's like nothing, but like they played his music and everything, right? So I feel like that was kind of a cool bait and switch. So they're just beating down Hangman, as they do, and security come out. They kind of get beat up by Yui a little bit, and then Dark Order come out as well. So they flee, and then 10 takes out security because he's a muscular boy.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this interaction between these two. I think they both kind of made sense in the characters they're playing and the history between the two. All like it's real because it actually happened, and B, that always is my favorite stuff, right?
And it's Adam versus Adam. What more do you want?
That kind of makes it for me, and they're both really good on the mic. I think Cole is incredible on the mic, and Paige is proven to be pretty good as well. So I think it's a pretty realistic story, and AEW expect their fans to be aware of the history between these two, which is also nice, right? It's assumed that our fans are kind of smart and follow wrestling beyond just our product, which other companies don't really treat us that way, right? They assume we don't know anything. So I guess the idea with, because I did watch Rampage, right, was to quickly heat up 10 to face Cole, right? As 10 was killing all of the security guys, I guess. But yeah, I mean,
indie wrestler.
Again, a super talk heavy first hour of this show, but I thought this was another good talking segment.
Yeah, I like the promo from Cole a lot. I think it's pretty good. Love some good Adamander Cole. I think Hangman had some good lines as well, the other Adamander. I never thought about it too much, but these guys do have a bunch of history, so that really helps. I always like that. It's never like necessary, but it always helps a feud a lot, I think.
Yep.
I like the little bait and switch with Cole's music playing one on Redragon attack. I think I'm just gonna permanently call them Redragon.
Seems like that's what you're doing.
Yeah, just kind of there. It's in my brain now.
Yeah, that's fine. That's how I spell it. They want you to say it differently.
Although
spell it differently.
They do it like red, all caps, and then dragon. So it's like red dragon or red dragon.
Red dragon.
Yeah, but the way I did it was like I was thinking it's like R, and then E's a lowercase, and then you go dragon, right? Like
yeah.
Instead of not a capital E, because then it's like red and then dragon, so Redragon, right?
Yes.
But anyways, I thought it was nice to see Kyle O'Reilly back a week after we were like, he's gone because of baby, he's back.
He's back.
So, but that's good. That's good. And just in time for the tag team battle royale. And Undisputed Era back is great. I'm gonna call them that.
His baby and the Gargano baby will be tag team champions in like 18 years from now. Calling it. In 2040.
Did O'Reilly have a daughter or did he have a
I don't know.
son?
Doesn't matter. No.
They'll still be tag team champions.
Yep,
who was it? I want to say it was Rick Steiner and Judy Bagwell were tag champs or whatever.
Judy Bagwell. Yep.
I know. I want to say
there's a talent.
I feel like it was one of the Steiners.
Talk about the women's revolution. It began with Judy Bagwell.
Judy Bagwell is responsible for
on
the
a pole.
Revolution.
Nope, forklift.
All right. No, Judy Bagwell's responsible for the women's revolution, not Stephanie McMahon, okay?
Correct.
Judy Bagwell.
Oh, yeah, Stephanie McMahon. Good job.
Stephanie McMahon. With Cole Hangman feud building, I think we need Undisputed Era versus Hangman and Grayson and Uno. And then, because they had a segment later, I totally forgot that the Bucks also exist.
They do, in fact, exist. Yes.
So you could do another 10-man tag, Dark Order against Bucks, except this time take out stupid Doc Gallows and Omega and
There
Anderson.
hasn't been one of those, like, I want to say random, like, multi-man, like 4-on-4 or 5-on-5.
They could do, like, a Survivor Series match again. You do Undisputed Era and the Bucks versus Dark Order, which ideally is Hangman,
Silver,
Reynolds, Grayson, Uno.
Yeah, that works.
Of course.
Yep.
I think that'd be cool. But overall, I enjoyed this very much.
Me too.
We got a quick Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara package, and Darby's talking about how they both like risk a lot, and they seem to have a death wish to like fill a void or whatever. And he says the void is the TNT title, and you can look at any time they faced off in AEW or the Indies. And Sammy says Darby was a good TNT champion. In fact, he was. But he won't be better than him. He was though. And what did you think?
It's just a solid hype package focusing on their similar, like, it's the Daredevil battle, right, basically.
Yeah.
So I thought it was good.
I thought it was solid, and
Yeah.
it was good because I forgot that these guys ever faced off.
Right.
So
I always like
that's
that
kind of
reminder,
helpful
too.
because
Yep.
if you told me they faced off for the first time here, I'd be like, okay, yeah.
But you're supposed to be the one that remembers everything, okay? It's
That's
my job
true.
to not remember anything.
No, it's your job to purposely forget it.
Well, not purposely, but it
well, then
happens.
it's not
Just
it's
naturally.
your job. You get paid to forget.
That's correct.
Yeah. All right. Next week, speaking of Sammy Guevara, Inner Circle stuff. Pound and Powerful versus Jericho and Hager.
Right.
Jericho and Brick Wall.
Hager, what did I say? He's got anti-charisma?
The anti-charisma.
Like, he makes me want to look away instead of
the
actually...
anti-rock.
Instead of actually watch. It's too bad, man, because he's big and he has an amateur background, but he's just so...
He's not even that interesting in the ring, too.
He's not.
Just like...
He's just not interesting.
Mm-hmm. This is a fine TV tag. Before the match even starts, though, Kingston comes out in return, so that's nice.
Got a good reaction, too, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Corner toss by Santana to Jericho and a dropkick to the back. Fisherman suplex by Ortiz for 2. Swagger bomb, AO.
Yay.
For 2 by Hager. Just like a springboard splash from the corner. It's like he runs, jumps over, and does a Vader bomb, but
Yes.
Swagger bomb. Hot tag flurry by Santana until Jericho comes in with the code breaker and Hager hits a side slam. Wow.
He's a big
for
man.
2, yeah. Big slam. Bulldog by Jericho. Russian leg sweep off the ropes by Santana for 2, and Ortiz takes out Hager on the outside with the cannonball. A street sweeper. Yeah. For a near fall.
Which not
Why
broken
the hell
up, it was
did
a
Jericho
kick out.
kick out?
Yeah, we weren't thrilled with that.
I will angrily talk about this after. Santana gets a rope break after getting caught and put in the walls of Jericho, and Jericho takes out Kingston for some reason. Then there's this weird like sequence of events in the finish where like, so Santana's hitting stuff, and then like, he's hitting like strikes and crap to Jericho, and then Ortiz like hits a cheap shot, and then Santana's a discus lariat for the win. So it's like that combo they did to 2.0, except stupid.
Yeah, I didn't love it either.
It was weird. I don't know. What did you think?
I thought the match was good, and I thought the crowd made it even better because they were super into it. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the finish basically being a lariat, but I thought the match itself was good. Santana and Ortiz specifically looked great, and I mean, if Hager were at all interesting, right, in any way, if he weren't the charisma vacuum that he is, I think it would have been even better, but I just struggle to care about anything he does. And we've talked about Jericho's definitely not in his prime, right? But I still thought this was a pretty enjoyable tag team match, and I would really like Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz together. And I know I already suggested it, but they would be cool with trios titles or chasing those titles or in that division if the titles ever existed. But yeah, I thought it was a good tag team match. You?
Yeah, so I don't know. I had kind of mixed feelings about this because like I feel like it was like pretty nice when Power and Powerful were in control, of course.
Agree.
But then like I feel like when Jericho and Hager are in control, mainly Hager, I will say, Jericho's actually not the worst offender here. It just kind of like slows.
You're kind of just waiting for the other guys to get control again.
It just kind of starts to bore me.
Yes.
It kind of evened out to a fine match, but the finish was really weird, if I'm being honest. And I think it was going well enough, and I was so happy to get a street sweeper. But who in their right mind let Jericho kick out of it? And then they had the audacity to call a wonky finish where they win with the discus lariat and not the street sweeper. Like, what was the point of even putting in the street sweeper if you're gonna have him kick out and then not win with it after?
You can have Swagger break it up, right? But I didn't love the kick out either.
Why even use the street sweeper if you're not gonna win with it? You don't kick out of the street sweeper.
Jack wants the street sweeper protected, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, the street sweeper deserves. That's A, looks pretty cool. B, name a better move that sounds cooler than that. Do it.
It's
you
cool.
Can't.
Yeah.
Street sweeper's a sick name. That move should be protected. That should be like a smash contraption. You shouldn't. Well, people have already kicked.
Yeah, they definitely have.
Okay, bad example. Doomsday. No.
One-winged angel.
Yeah, should be the one-winged angel tag team.
There
moves.
you go.
So yeah, Jericho, you should not have done that. And all jokes aside, I do think the finish was pretty wonky. Like,
I do too. It was not what I expected.
It was sudden and just kind of like weird. Like, and like I think Jericho's trying to pass off now that Kingston was involved.
I think so. But he distracted him or something. No,
but he attacked Kingston. Like Kingston didn't actually get involved, so the whole thing's kind of weird.
I thought
should have been a street sweeper. I'm happy they won, but like street sweeper.
Yep.
Like sweep them streets, you know. Next we get a promo with Undisputed Era and the Bucks. I almost said UE again, and I hate myself.
I just have Elite and Red Dragon myself, but I don't know.
Oh, I go the other way. Because Undisputed Era and Bucks.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Yeah.
Cole said on Rampage is going to beat up 10 of the Dark Order, and Jay White is going to beat Trent Beretta. In fact, that is exactly what happened. I do not know how he knew that. Cole mentioned the tag team title opportunities with Redragon arguing with the Bucks about who's the better team. Bucks, I think. Unfortunately.
I don't know. It's close.
Bucks mentioned Kyle not being there recently, so Kyle said he had a baby.
Right.
Matt Jackson said he had 2 of them, and Nick said he had 3.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
I didn't know.
Like having one baby, big deal. We've got more kind of deal.
I did not know Nick had 3. I thought he had 2. That's weird. Cole tried to get everybody to get along, and then they leave on opposite sides. So I thought it was a solid little segment. Again, good to see Kyle O'Reilly back. And now I remember there's 2 Battle Royals, right, and 2 title shots. So they kind of planted in my head that Red Dragon
they take separate
and
routes.
The Bucks could both get title shots in here, and it would kind of further this kind of hostile relationship within this group, and
Cole having to choose.
That would be an amazing match.
It would.
You put them in there and then throw in Jurassic Express. Like, that would be awesome.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
That would be.
And, like, I think that's what they should do because it works on a couple different levels, right? And then also, who else is going to really step up, especially pay-per-view
And you can have whoever you decide you want to protect not being pinned, right?
Right. And, like, I don't think... Like, I feel like Red Dragon would get protected because they're still relatively new.
I think the only team that you don't need to protect there is Jurassic Express. I feel like they could take the pin and we'd have new champs.
Red Dragon? Ooh.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. And, like, I just don't see, like, even, like, the Acclaimed, I think they're kind of, like, on a downturn a bit. And, like, I don't think they need to go for it anyways. Plus, I'd like to have them get, like, a personal shot rather than, like, this.
Right.
I think this is the perfect way to kind of further this storyline. So I really hope that's what they do. And I know AEW's smart, so it's not like I'm, like, just kind of hoping for it here. Like,
they might think of it.
I'm hoping for Rollins to win tonight, but WWE's stupid. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought this was good, too. More of Cole being the peacemaker, right, between these 2 tag teams that are, I'm sure, eventually going to face each other some way, whether it's your idea there or somewhere else. So, and I'm fine with, again, like a slow burn on this story, right, because Cole seems to have a lot going on right now. So this is just sort of a back burner story that they can come back to later because it looks like he's inserting himself in the main title picture as well. So he's a busy guy. But yeah, I like this.
Oh, that'd be cool if Red Dragon and Cole both all won gold in Revolution.
The Prophecy.
The Prophecy.
Mm-hmm. Then Roddy comes and wins the North America or the TNT.
Oh, he just like goes in the ladder match and then wins the ladder match and just like, hey, chump, face me now, and then wins the title then.
Right.
And yeah. That's what they should do that.
Yep.
They should do that.
For
I
sure.
think it's very likely.
It's happening.
It's likely. It's promised. They promised it to me, I'm pretty sure. Next, we have Mercedes Martinez versus Thunder Rosa in a no DQ match. In perhaps the most underwhelming no DQ match I've seen this side of NXT 2.0.
It was a little underwhelming, yep.
And
because I like both of these women a lot.
Women's match of the week.
It was.
Martinez is sent through the barricade, so she just kind of gets whipped, and then just one of the barricade pieces falls over.
Yep.
So I thought that was kind of weird. To just kind of go through it hard, but I just thought it was weird, like just the whole thing collapsed.
It did.
They brawl in the crowd. A fisherman suplex by Martinez off the apron into a slanted table after the break, and it just kind of like
it was like a slide.
Dents.
They kind of slid down and then it broke at the bottom, right where Rosa was. It wasn't the most impactful.
It was kind of funny. Speaking of impactful, there was a spider suplex in the corner by Martinez with Rosa
awesome.
landing high.
Best move of the match.
Crucifix bomb by Rosa, and then speaking of impactful, Rosa wins with a Fire Thunder Driver, quote unquote, on the chairs.
Yeah, onto her own thigh as she went through the chairs into the chairs. Yeah.
And then after they attack Rosa, and then Martinez kind of hesitates hitting Rosa with the pipes, and then she gets attacked too.
Yeah, I really like both of these women. I'll say it again, but this match did disappoint me. Again, this is the other time where I thought without picture-in-picture, we missed a decent chunk of this match at kind of an important time, right? I thought the beginning of this was a bit slow, too much like just running people into stuff, which is not my favorite use of these things. Not enough wrestling for me, especially since both of these women can wrestle really well, so I felt like we were kind of deprived of that. For me, this either needed more time or they needed to do more time in the time they were given, if that makes sense. There were a couple of cool spots for sure, like the Spider German looked awesome, but I was personally hoping for more, and the Karate Kid stuff just all together, because it resurfaced here, right?
Oh yeah, it did.
It kind of feels beneath AEW to me, like this is like just throwing in a celebrity for the sake of celebrity, but Mercedes' affiliation with Britt was super short, right? So I don't really care about them turning on her and jumping her after the match because it's been, what, a week that they were together? 2 weeks? So anyways, I assume this means we get... It feels like Rosa and Mercedes tag team is happening to sort of stall getting to Britt and Rosa. I don't know. Because it felt like Thunder Rosa and Mercedes were sort of like sympathetic towards each other at the end of this, which leads me to believe they might work together.
That's building up. Like, I feel like that's either that's a Rampage match.
Right.
That is such a Rampage
That's what it feels like to me. But anyways, I mean, I don't think it was a bad match. And especially it's hard to follow the Paige Archer match too, right? Because this was supposed to be...
I don't even feel like they tried.
No, so I was a little disappointed. I don't think it was bad, but I didn't love it either.
For sure. Yeah, it was very disappointing, very underwhelming. Part of it has to do with where they decided to put the commercial breaks. As for us, the short match got made even shorter.
Yes.
They needed and deserved more time than this. Or they should have used this time better. This is not at all near the standards of other similar matches before it. Like I said, not like they didn't even try. And especially from the talents involved, I would expect better. The aftermath was kind of odd, and I know from Rampage we're getting Baker versus Rosa at Revolution, which I can't imagine that's a blow-off match.
No, it shouldn't be.
Unless more is revealed. Like, it seems like a fairly basic match.
I agree.
Next we get a quick House of Black promo. We're talking about violence and justice, and King asks, or after there's a knock on the door, King asks who they're waiting for, and Black says history. And we're going to get House of Black versus Penta and Pac next week. I guarantee they're false advertising Joker Penta again.
So this one I felt like was a little more cryptic than usual, but it sounds like they're teasing the arrival of someone, as you suggested, maybe Buddy Matthews, is it now?
Yep.
FKA Buddy Murphy. So he does make a reference to history here, right? So apparently they do have a history. So
haha.
But I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be him.
By that logic, it could be Cesaro.
Right. So it feels like somebody's coming, and I like the overall. It still had that kind of dark feel that I like to these segments. It was just and it was quick, just a little more cryptic than some. But yeah, it was good. All right.
Yeah. Another pretty cool quick package. It sets up someone else, I think. Happy with the match next week. Maybe Pentagon Dark. Dark Pentagon Joker.
Could be.
Oh, wait. Haha. No. He should do a ring gear based on Batman Who Laughs, which is Joker Batman.
Could be.
Because Batman's darker than Joker.
Sure, he is.
I'm not sure who's knocking, but rumor was Murphy. He'd be knocking again. So next we get a quick promo from Jay White, Switchblade. Jay White talks about how everyone is talking about him, and he's the leader of Bullet Club. He's going to show all of AEW that this is still his era. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of liked, because his logic was that he's basically responsible for AEW because he chased Omega out of New Japan.
I like that.
And so without him, Omega wanting to get away from Jay White, we would never have AEW. So I thought that was cool. And I thought he was good in this quick segment. It wasn't very long. It was just introducing us to Jay White in AEW. I guess I thought it did a good enough job.
I think it was a fairly basic promo, but I think it was good. Quick one. I should try to catch his Rampage match. You already watched it, so whoops, too late. I hope he gets a match on Dynamite soon. Then I'd have to watch it. Ha! Jay White is good. You thought he wasn't.
I think he's polarizing because his style is pretty slow. Like, he can do everything, but he's kind of like deliberate and stuff. So I think some people don't. Anyways, I think he's fine. Yeah.
I should watch New Japan Jay White.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably won't, but I should. And then we come to our main event for Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship and the TNT Championship, because there's two.
That's right.
I thought it was a solid main event from two guys who have no problem diving off of many different things.
True.
How many things did they dive off here? I do not know. Fireman's carry Godbuster on the top rope by Sammy, and then Darby kind of like flips off and hits off the apron too. So that was kind of cool.
nice landing. Well, not nice. I mean, it looked good. It probably didn't feel good, but yeah.
Right. There's coffin splashes in the corner by Darby, and then he targets the knee more, which apparently Sammy during the commercial break again didn't see.
Missed it.
Darby hangs Sammy in the tree of woe and targets the leg more, which is really cool. We get an avalanche Spanish fly later. Darby catches a springboard, locks in a figure four for a bit. Later on, Sammy Guevara caught a suicide dive with a cutter, which looked really cool.
It did.
He missed like a swanton and hits hard off of the apron.
Yeah, that looked good too.
Teasing Jeff Hardy.
Could be.
Jeff Hardy did that exact
Battle
same
of the
thing.
Swantons.
He did that exact thing at SummerSlam 2018. I remember because he did it.
I believe you.
And yeah, so they're teasing Jeff Hardy. He's definitely confirmed. I wouldn't even be surprised if Tim McGuire has face paint next week.
Right.
Yeah, and he's just like, he just does his entrance.
He reveals
dance
himself to be Jeff Hardy. This whole time, it was him all along.
Yeah, wait. You remember you kept saying that about someone else? What was
I don't
it?
remember.
No, because you kept saying like someone was secretly.
I know. Somebody.
I remember you were doing that, but I don't remember who it was.
Thoroughly entertaining, I'm sure, but I don't remember who it was.
I should remember.
I do remember doing it.
I should remember, but
I had a whole story going for it.
If anyone can like remember this for us, then that would be.
Did we talk about it on here, or was it just in life?
I feel like that's something like that you kept doing here. It was someone like.
I'm sure it was brilliant.
I want to say it was like Adam Cole or like no, it was Britt Baker. No, I don't know. I'm trying to remember. Andrade interferes and prevents a coffin drop, and then Guevara limps and hits a GTH for the win. And then there's some nonsense with the AHFO. Basically, Andrade raises the two titles.
Is he leaving with the belts? He's walking up the ramp with them, right?
I think he did. Yeah.
So is this a belt stealing thing? Because that kind of bugs me. Steal their property and earn a match. It's my favorite. My favorite angle. Just steal something but belongs to them.
Brody Lee did that.
I enjoyed the main event. It was one of the matches, like, it was one of the different ones for Darby Allin, right? Where he's not just, he gets to showcase his versatility, as I guess what I'm saying. He's not just the guy that's going to get dominated and thrown around and then end up winning at the end. He actually showed some technical ability, right? Some limb targeting. And it kind of seemed like Sammy was more of the risk taker, high flyer in this. I thought the Spanish Fly, the dive countered into a cutter looked awesome, and the miss senton too. A good match and a really strong defense for Sammy, while it kind of still protects Darby Allin because Andrade did get involved, right? So I still think they need to get Sammy Guevara into a well-developed feud with the believable challenger, and I think that's maybe what they're going to do with Andrade. I really hope so, because Andrade is a star. So I loved seeing Andrade ending the show, because he's been sort of not involved in matches and things for a while, but I hated that Hardy had to be involved with him, right? Like, it's kind of like, on one hand, super happy Andrade's there, but why does he have to have Hardy with him? But anyways, and yeah, my last question was, is he stealing the belts? Because that was kind of the final image, was him going up the ramp with the belts, I thought. But yeah, a good main event.
Yeah, I
not
noticed
amazing,
that when I saw the clip.
Very good match, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was a good match. I feel like it kind of underwhelmed me a bit. I think it was good. Some of the spots were nice. But I feel like they could have done a little better. And for a main event, felt a little underwhelming to me. I did kind of like Darby changing it up and working the leg after Guevara tweaked it. But I think he works best on the back pedal and also jumping off things.
Yes.
Good match, but I expected a little more. Personally, Andrade seems to be set up as the next in line. Should be a cool match. I find it funny raising both TNT titles. You know, it'd be funny is he should just steal one title and be like, because so Sammy can still keep one, and then you just like
have a unification match. Like, who was that, Moose? If you just have a title for long enough, or EC3 or whatever that.
No, Moose.
Remember how much I hated that?
The controller narrative.
Yes.
They're starting a wrestling promotion.
They are. Mm-hmm. I saw Braun Strowman and EC3.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like no, because Moose had the TNT title because Tessa Blanchard was
right
wherever, right?
So and he just got
eventually it got sanctioned just to be unified.
Right. It was, and the whole storyline involving it was awful. But anyways,
yes.
So overall for this show,
of the show, yeah,
really, it was an episode of like 2 different hours. Right, hour 1 was virtually all promos and segments, because I went back and checked. It had about 17 minutes of wrestling in the first hour, and then the second half they sort of packed with matches. Right, and I overall I did enjoy the show. I thought the Punk promo ended up being good. The Moxley promo was excellent. Danielson Moriarty was my match of the night. But I did like the main event as well. Most of the major matches and angles were, I thought, at least effective, right? But not quite. It didn't quite have that feel of like an A show for me, so I went just below that with a B-. But considering the amount of talking, especially in the first half, still a very enjoyable show with, I thought, a sort of a nice coming out party kind of for Lee Moriarty for me, because that match I really enjoyed. So I gave it a B+. What about you this week?
Yeah, so I think overall it's a solid show. In terms of matches, we got a good first one, Danielson Moriarty. Casper Ward, though, was par for the course. Prime Power for Jericho and Hager was generally solid, but the finish disappointed me. but right result at least, I guess. Rosa Martinez was disappointing and
Agree
short.
with that.
Main event was good, but a little underwhelming. Segment seemed to be better than most of the matches. I wouldn't put it first, but the Punk promo was good. The Jurassic Express quick one was fine. Mox promo after the dancing match, loved that.
Yep.
I think Keith Lee's promo was very good, especially for him. Baker's segment was whatever. The Hangman Cole segment was very nice. Alan Guevara package was solid. The Undisputed Era Bucks segment was good too, and the House of Black and Jay White promos were fine as well. Overall, I didn't think it was a bad show, but I don't think there's anything spectacular either. I was thinking a B, but the dancing match and the two main segments I liked help it out a bit, so I'll give it a B plus, a little on the low end.
Yeah, not right, and just not quite that A caliber show, right? But still worthwhile and fun to watch, I thought, overall. All right, so let's move into take a break from looking at weekly stuff and get into a little bit of trivia this week and the segment we like to call Off the Top of His Head. All right, so as we discussed a little bit, it was recently my birthday, and one of the things I got, I think I asked for it and everything, is a wrestling WWE, in fact, trivia book. So it's from 2021. The back even says up-to-date and accurate facts. You know how sometimes you are more correct than the actual.
Yeah.
So this one's saying 100% verified and accurate information that's still relevant in 2021. Now we are 2022, but barely. You won't find any misinformed facts over here, they claim. So
They better not.
it's got 22 chapters. Chapter 1 is History and Origin of WWE. So I'm going to start you out light this week with 15 questions. There's about 30 per chapter, so I'm trying to make it last a little bit if they're good. So this is our first week, so I thought we'd start out short with just 15. And some weeks we may do more, some less. But let's see what you know. So you do have multiple choice options if you like. And again, this is History and Origins.
I will purposely try not to use them.
Okay. In what year did the World Wrestling Federation at WWF change its name to World Wrestling Entertainment?
2002.
2002 is correct. Very good. Which of these, so you're going to have to deal with the choices, was not a former trademark for WWE? Okay. WWF, WWW, CWC, or WWWF?
WWW.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I knew
WWWF because that was pre-WWF.
but I didn't know CWC.
Well, I figured that was real because remember, that's where NXT was.
Right.
So I figured by that logic,
And
that would have been...
Actually, it was in the bonus stuff, let me tell you. It says the CWC is the Capital Wrestling Corporation, and it actually was the earliest name used by the wrestling body. Its use went as far back as 1953. So it's like super old. Good. Really hard one. What family played a significant role in the foundation of WWE?
Oh, the McMahon.
Don't need the choices?
No.
It's not the Russos or the Haymans or the Wyatts? Those are the other...
Wyatts, yeah.
Those are the other
The
three
Wyatt
choices.
family were crucial in the beginning of WWF.
What
WWF.
era of professional wrestling is best known as the Golden Age?
What is it like?
Do you want options?
Late 80s? And I don't know how do they
So your
define it.
options are 80s, 90s, 70s, 2000s.
80s.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is when I started watching, basically.
I didn't know
they
if
say.
it was like we're going like I would have gone like late 80s if it was more specific.
Right. No, just 80s.
All right.
True or false? The CWC, as we said, WWE's earliest trademark, was formerly under the National Wrestling Alliance until 1963 when Vincent J. McMahon withdrew the company.
What?
So basically, it was the CWC affiliated with National Wrestling Alliance. Yeah. Yes, it was. You're right.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. I don't know why you would know that, but you do. Who ended, and I think you know this without even choices, but we'll see. I think it may have come up before. Who ended Bruno Sammartino's record-breaking run as champion in 1971?
Ivan Koloff.
Correct. You are right. The other options were Dominic DeNucci.
Who?
I don't know. Hulk Hogan or Andre the Giant.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan.
Right. Number 7. Andre the Giant became the top superstar in the whole wrestling industry in the 1970s. In what year did he join WWF?
79?
No. Too late. Do you want options?
7.
72, 73, 74, 75.
74.
73.
Damn
you don't know
it.
anything.
You
You
don't
say
know
you know
anything.
wrestling. Number 8. Hulk Hogan. This one's real hard, okay, so pay close attention.
Yep.
Hulk Hogan recorded one of the earliest cult followings in WWE history. What name was given to his fan base?
Oh.
Do you want the options? Because they're good.
The Canaanites, right?
No.
Yeah, Hulkamaniacs, but what are the options?
Hulkamania, yeah. Hulkamafia?
That would be awesome.
Hulkaship? Or the Hulkings?
The Hulking.
Yeah. So yes, indeed, it was
Hulkamania.
Hulkamaniacs, or Hulkamania, I would have accepted.
Hulkamania.
Which music star helped the WWF gain widespread attention by joining the company and including superstars in her music videos?
Cyndi Lauper.
Correct. Very good.
I was about to say just Cyndi Lauper randomly, just because I was like, music, Cyndi Lauper. But
Yeah. The other options were Dolly Parton, Aretha Franklin, and Madonna.
I think Aretha Franklin did.
She sang
She was
something.
at Mania 3, I
Right.
think it was. Yeah, I know
yeah.
she was at least there once.
So the Attitude Era of WWE took place between what years?
Oh, I don't know. I would go like 97 to 2001.
So
or
they
2002.
went 97, 2002.
Okay,
Very
yeah,
good.
that's fair.
Pretty sure you know this one. The WWE Championship was initially known as the WWF Championship. Who was the first winner?
Buddy Rogers.
Correct.
The original Nature Boy.
That's right. Who won the inaugural WWE World Heavyweight Championship? I have
Randy
options.
Orton?
No, not
Wait.
one of the options.
Wait, WWE World Heavyweight title. Triple H?
Yes, that's
Okay,
correct.
so, sorry, because I was thinking...
Explain yourself. How
'cause-
dare you?
Okay, right. So Triple H was awarded the World Heavyweight title, formerly the WCW title in 2002, right? Because he was #1 contender to Lesnar's WWE title, but
Yeah.
he signed exclusively to SmackDown,
Yeah.
right? Previously being dual-branded champion. But I was thinking, because they always call that just the World Heavyweight title,
Right.
but WWE World Heavyweight title is when they unified that with the WWE title in
So many
2013,
details.
and that was Randy Orton.
Good for
so
you.
that was my logic.
That is sound
So
logic.
technically, I was right
That
either
lost
way.
me. You were. Either way, of course. 13. What year did the PG era of WWE begin?
2008.
Why do you know that?
Because I'm pretty sure there was like a cage match with Batista and someone got in trouble for that.
And so one of the other facts at the end of the chapter is that's when blood was banned as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but it still happens. 14, so second last one. Penultimate question. Who won the first ever WWE Championship after WWF became WWE?
Lesnar?
No.
Or was it The Rock?
No, neither of those.
Hogan.
I have options.
Taker.
Undertaker is correct. It's not an auction. Just bidding on. And final,
Something 2002.
which I love because 15 happens to be really hard. In 1963, who became the first ever president of the then WWF? I have options, and actually the options would have made it obvious who the person was for
Jack
me,
Tunney?
despite never hearing of him.
No?
He's one of the options, but
Okay.
he is not the answer.
No, okay, no, it's not. Okay.
So here are your options. Ready? Willie Gilzenberg, Roddy Piper, Gorilla Monsoon, or Jack Tunney?
Roddy Piper.
No.
No? The weird guy?
Willie Gilzenberg is 1963. It's not Roddy Piper. It's 63.
Uh,
Anyways, yes. So you
Willie.
didn't know. So you don't know anything. We can confirm your knowledge of wrestling is next to nothing. No.
Right.
Good job. I don't know. How did you think? I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay. And each chapter gets different. We read through what the topics of the chapters are. So I think we'll keep going back to that book. Very easy for me. I guess I should give the book credit. What's it called? WWE Trivia, Fun Facts and Trivia Questions to Find Out How Much You Know. No author listed on the cover or anywhere else, it looks like. So, by Steve Pierce. There you go, Steve Pierce. But anyways, that's...
You just got a big time shout out on a big time show.
Oh, he's now a bestseller instantly, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But let's get back into talking about some wrestling that was not so great this week, I didn't find, and that's us taking a look at this week's NXT UK. So NXT UK, basically commentary quickly remind us of the Devlin Wolfgang main event tonight, and then immediately it goes to Sam Gradwell making his way to the ring. He's going to be taking on Kenny Williams in this opening match. So Kenny comes out in street clothes and on crutches, right? Tells us he can't compete due to an accident. He's hurt his knee. He said he's got a doctor's note and he will not be competing tonight. But then Sid Scala shows up on the screen. He's the authority figure for the most part. He says that medical have no injury on record for Kenny Williams and that the match will in fact start right now. So Kenny Williams wrestles this match in dress pants and Is he wearing dress shoes? I think he was, actually. But anyways, so early on, Gradwell dominates. And I thought Kenny Williams did a pretty good job of selling for him here. Williams then, because he is a heel, he's pulling hair, raking eyes, hitting a low chop block to sort of take control of the larger Gradwell. Gradwell then gets another flurry in with clotheslines, a back body drop, and a butterfly suplex. Williams eventually sends Gradwell into the second rope, but when he goes to follow it up, Gradwell basically just kind of sits down, right, and covers him for the pinfall and wins the match, which kind of surprised me a little bit. Cause
I don't even remember. I don't, like, and it was yesterday. I don't know why I don't remember.
So Williams attacks Gradwell with the crutch after the match before going and getting scissors out from a toolbox under the ring. And then, as my notes say, he does Gradwell a huge favor and cuts off that tiny little bit of hair. Like, so if you don't watch, Gradwell basically has
he's bald except for like this little mohawk in the middle of his head.
98% of his head is shaved, and then it's not even a full mohawk though. It's like 4 inches of a mohawk, right, near the front of his head.
It's worse than Tyson Kidd.
So
yeah, it's worse.
Basically, Kenny is laughing and Gradwell sort of in disbelief on the ramp. I didn't think this was a great match. It was pretty basic. Like with Gradwell, it's like the ground and pound style that I don't really love that much. And I didn't think Williams did much other than he used a lot of classic heel tactics, but I didn't think he did much else. So I just thought this was, I guess, decent at best, but it really didn't do much for me. And I was kind of surprised Gradwell won, but I guess the whole cutting off of the hair is going to make this continue. I don't know. I thought it was just okay, I guess.
It was, I don't know. I didn't love it because it was just like, really, it was done really weird. Like first no match, then match, and then he's like wrestling in street clothes, and like the finish was kind of weird. It felt very disjointed.
Yeah, the finish was
just weird.
There were no like highlights in this match. I didn't really find, right. It just kind of happened, and then it was the stuff afterwards. But anyways, not a great start. Backstage, we then get Gallus. They're basically laughing at the clips of them last week hijacking Noam Dar's show. What's it called? The Supernova Sessions,
Gallus
right?
Boys on Talk.
So yeah, which and then Wolfgang storms in because the rest of them are sitting there laughing, and he's upset because he was attacked in the hallway last week by Devlin while the other Gallus went off somewhere else. So he storms out, and then the Coffees end up leaving too, as the TV just kind of stays on in the background. So I didn't like their segment last week at all when they did take over Noam Dar's show. So I don't know, this didn't do much for me either. They're just kind of watching what I thought was a weak segment and laughing at themselves. And I guess, I don't know, is it teasing? There's issues within them. Wolfgang's mad, whatever. I thought this was just kind of there. What about you? Any major thoughts?
No, it's just there.
It was just there.
I struggled to pay attention.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, I guess Wolfgang's kind of mad at them, and we move on, and they're entertained by themselves, I guess. We then go to Zaya Brookside, and she is very excited to be interviewed. It's really brief. She's basically asked if she can be a role model like Amal, and of course this sets Brookside off. She's the brat, I guess, has a little temper tantrum here, and ends by saying she's going to go tell her daddy about this. So I don't really enjoy Zaya Brookside anyways, and I feel like what she's doing here on this episode is really, really similar to Tiffany Stratton, and I don't care if you want to say Zaya's been doing it longer. It doesn't really matter to me who's been doing it longer. I didn't really enjoy it. I guess it's just a really quick way to move her towards facing Amal, obviously, right? But I don't know. I don't find Brookside very interesting, but clearly they want to do stuff with Amal, right? She's mentioned or on every week, and it's only an hour show.
When a lot of better ones are not.
Right, so it's kind of interesting. They seem to be working hard to build Amal a little bit for some reason, but I think she's okay. Like, I'm not saying she's bad, but I don't think she's amazing.
I don't think it warrants this much focus, I think is the best way to put it. Like, she's not, like, bad, but I don't think...
Kind of like how I feel Mastiff and Stars are getting time, and they're not how I would choose to spend...
Oh, we'll get there.
the limited time we have. We then get we get there right now. We get a reminder of Jack Starr's desire for the mystical vest like Dave Mastiff has.
It is a mystical bomber jacket, okay?
This vest has come to symbolize everything that Jack Starrs just wants to be in life, right? So Mastiff agrees to sort of help Starrs earn it. I don't know if he's actually going to earn his own physical vest, or it's just the respect of Mastiff, or all of the above. But
what if it was a vest NFT or something?
Something, just an NFT of Mastiff's vest.
Like, Mastiff just, because Stars is touching it, right? He just like takes a picture of the jacket in the locker and turns it into an NFT.
You have a virtual receipt that you own the picture of the jacket. Amazing.
That'd be so funny.
So Mastiff basically tells Jack Stars, the first thing he has to do is do squats for an hour, right? And air squats. So Stars starts, Mastiff leaves, and it turns out he leaves him there for 2 hours, right? Then he makes him eat an entire sleeve of Weetabix. Do you know what that is?
I have no idea what that is.
So they look like basically hash browns almost, but it's like the driest cereal you could possibly imagine. They just come in little like bars, I guess. So
That's
it would be
nice.
really hard to eat them dry. Like, you know how there's that challenge to eat however many soda crackers without. So it would kind of be like that. It would be like the driest.
Yeah.
It'd be like eating a box of sawdust, basically. Okay. And then the third challenge was for Stars to streak through the performance center or the arena, but he refused.
What's that? What? I don't even
He was
remember.
basically naked, and he Mastiff was trying to get him to run through the facility naked, and Stars wouldn't do it. This is how engaged you were in this show this week.
Yeah, how that's weird.
It was an attempt at comedy. It didn't work for me at all. I don't have a lot of interest in these two or this mystical vest or why even Stars like looks up to Mastiff so much. Like, I don't feel like that's been really explained or revealed to us. But again, we haven't been watching it closely for that long, so maybe it predates us watching and reviewing it. But I thought this was not a good segment. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it was really. It felt like on the, I don't know, maybe a little less weird because they built it, but like the Huxley A-Kid thing, like it was just really strange.
And it's comedy that is not.
Yeah,
going
that's not
well.
very funny. It's almost an NXT 2.0 comedy.
A little bit.
And like at least this one was kind of built,
Yeah.
stupid build or not.
Right.
Like at least it like you knew why it was happening.
They're
at least.
trying. That's what we
Like
could say.
and at least like you knew why it was happening.
Yes.
Like I'm still shaky on the whole Huxley thing, but like
Right.
at least like whether it was good or not, I knew why this was happening.
Loves the vest. Wants his own vest. It's all
telling
about
you,
the vest.
NFT is the easiest way to go.
We then get the first of two, I want to say almost identical matches, but it's Angel Hayes taking on Amelia McKenzie. So
They are pretty identical.
this was just a vehicle for McKenzie to pick up a rare win because she's usually the person losing to
if they were in
talent.
the US, this would be the kind of thing that they put on Level Up.
Right, exactly. So Hayes gets a few near falls early on, kind of surprising McKenzie, and then McKenzie eventually overpowers her, takes control. There was a really long chin lock by McKenzie in the middle of this, which I wasn't a big fan of. Then a flurry of strikes by Hayes again, and she also hits a lariat for a 2 count. Then it's McKenzie with a spinning neck breaker, a belly-to-back suplex for a near fall, a super kick by Hayes, and then McKenzie kind of catches Hayes coming at her from the ropes, slams her face first while sitting out. I don't know what technically it is, but she uses it to pick up the win. I really didn't think this was great. Again, it was just Amelia McKenzie picking up a rare win and nothing more really. I didn't think Hayes looked really great. Did you have any thoughts on this? Barn burner?
Board.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the finish. What was the finish?
It was like it's the
I remember
slamming them down face first, sitting out sort of thing. Like, I don't know what you call it.
Buster? Like the face, like is it where they just slam them face first and sit out?
Yes.
Like just that?
Yes.
Buster.
Yeah. So that's
Factor?
what it was. No, the flip the other way though. So I have the legs and your head's out that way, slamming like wheelbarrow kind of.
Oh.
Anyways, I'm here. I am gesturing for an audio podcast. People know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Andy Shepherd sits down with Nathan Frazier, which to me implied that he would ask more than one question and it would take longer than like 40 seconds or whatever. Like he sits down with Nathan Frazier and it's over in 12 seconds.
But just stood up.
Basically, Frazier's glad he beat Teo Man last week. Something about like being in the ring with Walter, being intimidated or whatever. He was referring back to facing off against Walter anyways. And then he kind of calls a shot here, right? And basically challenges Ilya Dragunov for the championship. So I just thought it was really short for a sit down, and he kind of just breezed through Teo Man and Walter and then was like, and now I want a title shot. I don't think he's quite main event material yet. Like, I like Fraser, but I don't imagine he's beating Dragunov, but the match I guess could be fun. So I thought this was, I don't know, for me, when you say sit down, like I think of like an interview with multiple questions and some depth to it. And that is not what this was, but I guess it was fine. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't. It was weird,
right?
And short.
And I don't know if maybe it's Fraser's not good on the mic, and they just wanted to get this over with. But it's like, yep, I beat Teo Man. Yep, Walter was scary, and now I want Dragunov. Okay, cool.
So Walter's scary, and you want to face the guy who beat him.
Right, I guess so.
The only guy who beat him.
Right.
The only guy who beat
Right.
like yeah, that makes sense.
Could be a fun match.
The guy who has the calmest temper in the history of the world.
That's right. Very gentle, gentle man.
Mm-hmm.
So Teoman is talking to the other members of Die Familia.
Well, other members, Charlie Dempsey.
He feels bad about his loss, but was it Rohan Raja is sort of reassuring him, telling him that Teoman has taken care of the family and to just look where they are. They're all in nice suits in some fancy condo or something, or hotel room. So I guess the point is they're successful. Teoman says he will never be a loser as long as the family wins. Dempsey then says that maybe the loss is what will bring this family closer together, and Teoman makes a new promise and says that nothing will stop them. So, I don't know, for me, I like everything about this group, right? Except
their theme.
Well, that too. The fact that they don't really win high-profile matches, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think they're cool, but they don't when push comes to shove. And didn't this seem almost
like Team Taz?
Did it feel baby-facey a little bit? Like if you're a heel lost the match and they're all being like supportive and don't worry.
Or it's like it was like the I foresaw it or whatever.
You're still a great
I don't know. I don't know.
And you're still a great leader, and maybe this is the loss that brings us closer together. Like I don't know.
Just makes them strong. I don't know.
But I find them interesting at least. I hope they get more of a chance going forward.
And
but
a new theme.
I did think they were kind of supportive of each other for a heel group, right? It's okay, bud. You lost, but look how good you take care of us, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I like them, so it's fine. We then get another women's match here, much like the first. I thought Myla Grace, who I didn't think looked great in this one, taking on your favorite Stevie Turner. So Myla Grace was in control early on, and then a Thez press from Turner sort of turns the tide. Then we get Turner doing a bunch of chin locks in the middle of this match. Hers were a little more aggressive looking, at least, I guess, than whoever Amelia McKenzie in the first one. But anyways, flurry of strikes and clotheslines by Myla Grace. Hits a 619 in the corner and a tornado DDT for a 2 count. Then we get a pump kick and basically what I thought was just a side effect, right, from Stevie Turner. And Stevie Turner wins. And I didn't think this was good. Probably less good than the one before it. But honestly, it felt virtually the same as the match before this. Because you've just got two kind of inexperienced women. One who is basically enhancement talent, and it's just a match to get that enhancement talent a win for once. It's like jobber versus enhancement talent times 2, right? So I thought it was an interesting choice, to say it nicely, to put both of these matches on the same 1 hour show, right? Any thoughts on this?
Now there's 4 matches on the show. I feel like it's like Rampage where they're kind of trying to cram 4 matches. I feel like 3 is the sweet spot.
Right, and 2 that are basically the same to me.
Right,
like no offense to the women involved
or like
in this,
if you got 2 big matches, that's fine. But like I feel like 3 is like the best you can do, with one of them usually being a squash. Like especially like you said, when 2 like I was struggling to pay attention. I can't really differentiate.
Well, because there's no stakes or story behind either of those
just
matches.
A squash, and even then, not a very good one.
It felt like something that would be on Dark or whatever, right? Like it's just random matches with zero story. Mustache Mountain, it's kind of like a back and forth, I guess. They're really confident that they think they're the best tag team in the world today, but they do
even though they're based in the UK.
They do respect Smith and Carter. Then we cut to Carter and Smith, who say it's their time, and that Mustache Mountain are overconfident and too concerned about not losing rather than winning, I guess.
Isn't that basically the same thing?
Very similar things.
Like almost the same thing.
Although in team sports, it does suck when teams try not to lose.
I guess it's like
when you build a lead and then you're just trying to protect the lead rather than keep playing the way you played.
Oh, right. Or I was thinking like if you're just trying to not lose, you could try to make it a tie.
I guess
you know, like
shoot for the draw.
Yeah, like I mean, in theory, your thing makes more sense.
Thanks. Trent Seven says he's addicted to winning, and Tyler Bates says that the belts fuel them.
Maybe some therapy segments or whatever, because I got an addiction. Get what was Dr. Shelby?
Yeah, there you go. Smith and Carter.
That's when they have friendship issues.
Say they will be the next champions, and they won't spend another year under anyone else. I thought this was a solid back and forth promo. Kind of a nice break from the attempted comedy segments it seems UK's trying a lot lately. So I can't imagine Mustache Mountain lose this match, right? Because I don't think Carter and Smith are quite there yet. But I hope the match is good at least. I don't know. What'd you think of this?
I thought it was solid. I like the back and forth style, of course.
Me too, usually.
But it just doesn't I don't find Carter and Smith that interesting. Like I think they're all right, but they're just not super interesting. And also they're not winning.
It's not a very deep division at this point, right?
It is not.
We then get our main event, which is Wolfgang taking on Jordan Devlin, who's just in ridiculous shape, right? The man is super ripped. So commentary, I guess they're trying to explain or add some color to Jordan Devlin's current character. They compare him to Patrick Bateman, who you wouldn't know, but he's from a movie based on a book called American Psycho, who played like this calm on the surface, but like serial killer kind of guy. So I feel like they're trying to add a bit of depth to Devlin there. But anyways, Wolfgang, this is the arm targeting match. It's Wolfgang targeting Devlin's left arm early on. Then they're brawling on the outside. Devlin gets dropped chest first across the barricade. We get a cutter attempted, but it's countered into a delayed vertical back in the ring by Wolfgang. A little bit later, Devlin low bridges, and that sends Wolfgang to the floor into the barricade, and that sort of stops the momentum of Wolfgang. He's then run into the ring post, so he starts to sell his left shoulder, so Devlin starts to focus on that. We get a moonsault attempt by Wolfgang, but Devlin gets the knees up. Devlin goes back to the arm with 2 running punts from the apron to basically just kicking Wolfgang's arm really hard. We get a slingshot corkscrew splash from Devlin that looked pretty cool.
I think he landed on his back, so it was kind of like a senton-ish, but it was
looked
interesting.
Cool. Yeah. And then we get a little bit more brawling, and that gives Wolfgang the advantage. He hits a running senton for a 2 count. We get a headbutt by Devlin. Both men are down before Devlin hits a nice cutter for a near fall. We get a Spanish fly off the top, which I saw a lot of this week, a couple of times on Impact this week. Spanish fly off the top by Devlin for 2, immediately followed up by a really nice 450, and that picks up the win. As you pointed out in the moment, right? He probably can't hit the Devlin side on Wolfgang. Yeah. So I thought both of those, the finishing combo looked pretty good, right? I thought it was a solid match. It was nothing spectacular. It was really slow for the most part, right? It was like a steady, slow pace. I feel like it never quite kicked into the next gear that it could have, that Devlin matches usually do. So I want to blame Wolfgang, but it was pretty. That's nice. It was pretty clear that Devlin would be winning this. I think it was pretty easily the best match of the night, but I don't think it was a top tier main event or anything, right? Like it was solid, but it just never kicked into high gear. It was just a steady pace the whole way, kind of. So I thought it was okay, but
this show was that high gear.
No, I agree with you. So you were not a huge...
I thought it was fine, but I think Devlin can do much better. I think Wolfgang's all right, but I feel like definitely Devlin had to work with him.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, or work around him, so to speak. I think Devlin could have done much better. It never really kicked into the next gear. No. I feel like it was just kind of like stalled pretty much. I think the finishing couple moves from Devlin were cool, but other than that, I don't really remember much.
Yeah, it was... pretty fair. It's not very memorable, right?
Yeah. So I can save us some time. I think the show wasn't great. I'd give it a C. There's just nothing really.
Funny grade you gave
nothing I really care about, and like the main event was good, but like compared to the rest of the show, I'd say.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if we were just lucky when we started covering NXT UK, because I really enjoyed. Right. We were like, those first few episodes, we were going to see if we wanted to keep doing it, and we were like looking forward to UK, right? Because we were getting generally a really good main event. We were getting really good like pre-recorded segments for like Dragunov and Devlin that we were really enjoying.
Yeah, we got some cool matches and whatnot. Like I feel like every week there was something.
And then lately, it's like slipped considerably, and it's kind of feeling a bit like a chore, right? Like this week, the Gradwell-Williams match was nothing special. Both of the women's matches felt really similar, and I don't think either one was very good. And the main event was like good enough, I guess, but not great. And then segment-wise, the only one that interested me at all is D Familia, right? Because they're not doing comedy. And I guess the back and forth with Mustache Mountain and Smith and Carter was fine too. But I agree. I gave this the exact same grade you did, which is a C. And I will tell you, because we're about to come up to me talking about it, I actually enjoyed NXT 2.0 more than NXT UK this week. And that is not how it's supposed to be, right? But anyways.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we'll move into talking about NXT and then whatever else we happen to want to talk about in the next segment that we call Any Other Wrestling Business. All right, so let's talk some NXT Vengeance Day. You saw a tiny bit of this, I think, right? You were around for some part of it. I don't remember what part it was exactly. Do you?
I don't even remember if I saw anything.
I'm almost positive you watched something. But anyways, so the show opens with the previews of the matches. I know you didn't see this. I think I told you about it. basically they frame the matches in text messages between the members of Toxic Attraction.
Oh, yeah, you
So I
told me.
give them full marks for trying something new, but I really didn't think it worked. It was basically like Carmelo Hayes super hot or whatever, and then they talk about that match, or like I don't know. It was just them having like mean girl text conversations to each other, incorporating the matches that were happening. So kind of a unique idea, but I didn't think in execution it was very good. It didn't feel natural at all, and also like having access to their text conversations, right? When you think about it, is kind of
Right.
strange. So
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't love it. The opener is Pete Dunne. He defeated Tony D'Angelo, which I was happy to see because I wasn't sure, in the weaponized cage match. So I'm going to be really quick this week talking about NXT. I thought the match was a fun enough. It was basically a 10-minute weapons match that I think is ending this feud. So I'm really happy that Pete Dunne won, and it seems like from what we get later on this show, he's positioned to go after the North American title next. So that'll be good for him. A few highlights. Tony hit a nice Falcon Arrow onto a trash can. We got a nice superplex to Dunn as Dunn was sort of hanging over the wall of the cage, and D'Angelo superplexed him back into the ring. We had Pete Dunne doing his thing with the fingers. He actually slammed them in a toolbox that looked pretty good, and then was using wrenches and claw hammers and stuff on people's fingers and faces. So Dunn eventually won with the bitter end. I think it was on like a piece of a table or something, a chair. I think it was a table for the win. I thought it was a decent match, pretty fun, nothing crazy, especially again after watching the recent Paige Archer bloodbath. Like to call this sort of a weaponized cage match and have it be very, very tame compared to that, right? But I mean, it was a fun enough opener. I don't think it was anything amazing, but it wasn't a bad match either. That's going to be a lot of what I say about this show is like, it wasn't bad. It was fun enough, but it wasn't amazing. We then get Jade. What's her name? Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez training vignette. Basically, I think you saw this, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, I
Good.
did.
My summary is Gons is a dedicated veteran. Jade is a lazy rookie. Gons is big and strong. Jade is small and thin, right? Because it was them training, and then like the funny one is, oh, they're gonna carry each other. So Gonzalez easily carries Jade on her shoulders, but then Jade can barely. It was kind of like, didn't it feel like the vibe, not as bad, I guess, but of like the Kyle O'Reilly Von Wagner training in the forest segment? Like this was less rustic.
I forgot about that.
They were actually in like a facility working out, but it was
I
that
forgot
idea.
about that. Oh my god. And Von Wagner was the veteran.
So it was kind of like the odd couple. Like I'm the dedicated veteran and you're kind of the sleepy teenager rookie kind of deal. But anyways, then a brief Diamond Mine promo. Basically, they're going to take what is theirs tonight ahead of their finals in the Dusty Cup, I guess it is. We then get the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match. Did you watch any of this? Toxic Attraction. They ended up defeating Indy Hartwell
Maybe?
and Perza Parada. Because I know you saw the Gonzalez Cora Jade thing.
I
but
know
then
I did too.
anyways, I thought this was a pretty messy match in some spots. And I don't, just Toxic Attraction, man, they don't seem ready for the spot that they're in. And I don't think that the crowd or anyone else seems to be really interested in them that much. This match felt like a match between some inexperienced people, right? Nobody really seemed in charge, leading to some less than polished stretches in this.
Yeah.
So
Shocker.
Toxic Attraction to finish it, take out Parada when she runs into the ring steps, and then they knock Indy off the top as she goes for some sort of springboard move. And Toxic Attraction hit their. Did you see that? I thought you did see the high-low, because I didn't really love it.
I did. Yep, I remember now.
So they hit
bad.
their version of the high-low for the win.
It was offensive to Redragon and
The
offensive
Eliminators?
to the Eliminators.
I thought this was the weakest match on the card. I thought this was pretty sloppy
How
in
dare you
some
say that about
spots.
Toxic Attraction?
It just seems to be the standard Toxic Attraction tag match. Like I think
Yeah.
Mandy's better than them. I don't think Mandy's amazing,
Well,
but
she'd kind of have to be given how long she's been around.
but I think these two are not really working in character or really in their matches. So I Toxic Attraction's been a bit of a miss, and I think it's been long enough that we can confidently say that. I don't see a ton of people loving their work at this point. Anyways, Wendy Chu asked Amari Miller to be her Dusty Cup partner, but Amari has already promised someone else. We don't really find out who that is yet, I don't think. Chu acts like it's no big deal, but then is clearly annoyed once Amari leaves. So she then walks up to Dakota Kai, who is now wearing like heart-shaped goggles and talking to an imaginary person or herself. So Chu kind of approaches her about being partners for the cup. Kai continues to talk to her imaginary friend, and Chu just basically tells her to let her know when she figures it out. And I just poor Dakota Kai. I say it every week, right? Her gimmick keeps getting worse. I'm not sure how
what the hell happened to her?
I'm not sure how she makes this work, right? She's literally, her characters sit there and talk to an imaginary person. And the women's Dusty Cup, right, seems somehow less legit because they're just still struggling to form teams for this. Like Amari Miller is forming a team, supposedly. Chu doesn't know who her partner is. Io, we're just finding out. Even Cora Jade and Gons were just...
Why is it all singles people that feel like they have to tag together?
Right, I guess because there's no actual tag teams.
There's only Toxic Attraction.
Correct.
And whoever they just face,
and
then
Io and
Carter
Zoe,
and Catanzaro.
But Zoe and Io can't happen, right? And Carter and Catanzaro, but they're embroiled in a love story on NXT Junior High. We then get Waller and his bodyguard Sanga are outside with police officers, and Waller is expecting them to arrest LA Knight later tonight. We then get our Junior High part with Briggs and Jensen talk about Jensen's date with Kaden Carter. Basically, Jensen got put into the friend zone. Oh, they're at a bar discussing this. So Jensen is happy because, what did Carter said? Something like, she likes him like a brother, and he thought that was a good thing. And then the funny line was that Briggs says, I know you're from Alabama, but that's not a good thing. that was one of the funniest lines on the show, for sure. So anyways, Briggs gets the female bartender to come over, who is Fallon, whatever she was, that was just on Level Up. She's been a jobber a couple times as well. So anyway, she comes over to settle the disagreement, and obviously she agrees with Briggs that basically she just you're in the friend zone. So I don't know. This segment was, again, this NXT Junior High, and continues to make these grown adults seem like they're basically adolescents at best, I guess. So seems to be a waste of my time. I guess there's a possibility of it moving beyond bad back into good. It's so bad, but I don't think so. I just don't like it. Briggs, I think, isn't doing a terrible job, but Jensen is really bad, and he seems to be the focus of this for some reason, so no good.
He's Buchanan's kid, right? That was him. I'm pretty sure.
Whose kid?
Buchanan.
Who's Buchanan?
Bull Buchanan.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember they signed Bull Buchanan around, and then I'm pretty sure
that might be right. Because Von Wagner's the son of Bloom, and then Jensen's the son of someone.
I'm almost positive.
Look it up. I forget. Okay. You sound right. LA Knight comes to the ring to talk about Grayson Waller, but Waller, Sanga, and the police officers interrupt him basically right away. So Waller is prepared and has compiled video highlights of Knight attacking him to convince the police to arrest Knight. Obviously cut out of context and stuff. So LA Knight had a feeling that was going to happen, so he's prepared too. He has his...
Yep, it's Buchanan.
Nice. He has his own video of Waller when he sort of jumped over the barricade and rolled into a cutter during one of Knight's matches. So Knight grabs the restraining order...
Who's a stunner.
Yeah, grabs the restraining order out of Waller's hands and says that he's read it over carefully and that the restraining order goes both ways. And since they both violated it...
Is that how they actually work in real life? Or
it could, but I mean, like...
Shouldn't that be like...
The part that bothers me is the guy that got the restraining order has no idea that's in there.
Yeah.
And the guy the restraining order is against has it memorized, right? So I thought that was kind of cheap.
Isn't that like... Yeah, it's like the opposite of how it should be.
Right. So basically... the police just leave because they both did violate this, and there's no real job for the police to do. And then Knight fights...
Wait, they had fake police?
Yeah. Knight fights off both of the heels, and Knight and Waller, I guess, will face off in a match next week. So I honestly think Waller and Knight did a really good job in their roles here. And I think Knight kind of seems like he's main roster ready at this point. He's doing like that. Like,
why not in the Rumble? The Rumble was so boring.
Right. And like we've always said, he's doing like his Rock... Stone Cold combination, I guess, sort of thing.
Rock, Austin, Light.
It's just bad that the writing is nowhere near as strong, right? They're performing well, but the stuff they're getting isn't great. And like I said, the details about the restraining order I thought were kind of lame. It felt very main roster, but I think the guys involved did the most they could. Indy and Persia are disappointed backstage after losing their match. Dexter comes in and Indy leaves with him, and I think the point was Persia said hi and Dexter obviously said nothing. And then Duke Hudson comes in and leaves with Persia because it's more of our junior high.
I'm calling it right
NXT
now.
Junior
I'm calling
High.
it right now. Double date.
So yeah, I believe it. More romance angles, more waste of time. Moving on. Good intense promo by Tommaso Ciampa focusing on Ziggler then Breaker. Basically, he talks about building the brand. It's his home. He'll be watching the main event tonight very closely and assumes that Ziggler will be too. And I thought it was just a really good, intense promo from
Ziggler
Ciampa.
in NXT.
And he did the thing where when he finishes, he like flings the chair he's sitting on. That's kind of his move from back when he was.
I know he got released, but I missed Thatcher.
Me too.
match. Oh man, that was a waste.
Then we had Carmelo Hayes defeated Cameron Grimes to retain the North American Championship in what was I thought, a pretty terrific match. Pretty easily my match of the night on this show. I think Hayes is just really impressive in and out of the ring, and his partnership with Trick Williams is getting better each week. Trick seemed to, we said it right, like he was taking away from Hayes' presentation in the beginning, but now I think he's finding his role and he's doing a good job in helping Mello now. So excellent back and forth match. Each man got ample time to look really good. Trick got involved just enough, didn't really figure into the finish, which I liked. So Mello won with another really nice looking top rope leg drop to the back of Grimes' head after 16 minutes. But like, I think Mello is a star. And we're learning that, and we got further evidence that Cameron Grimes is capable of working great matches, even as a babyface. So yeah, again,
forgot how like he used to be so good as like the hillbilly heel.
Right.
I mean, even when he was like heel rich guy.
I'm not loving his character right now,
been
but
so like he's like I feel like he hardly has a gimmick anymore.
It's very
like,
slight.
The
now.
rich part has been toned
He
down.
He mentions it still, but it's dialed back.
The country part has been toned
Yes.
down. Like everything about him, like I feel like he's just not really much of anything.
No.
Anymore.
Definitely my favorite match tonight by a decent margin, and I would actually recommend it to people. I thought it was really good. Then Kaylee Ray convinces Io to smash things with her bat. There's like a table full of glasses and mugs and whatever.
I wonder what they're gonna do.
And Io finally does, and she enjoys it. And they're sort of, I guess the idea was they're channeling their shared hatred of toxic attraction. I think that's how Kaylee Ray convinced her to do it.
I wonder what's gonna happen.
Zoe Stark comes in and Io smashes her coffee cup, and Zoe seems kind of impressed by all of this. So it looks like Io and Kaylee Ray are obviously going to be forming a team for the Dusty Cup.
Is Zoe still injured?
Yeah. And that was the thing last week. Like, you should go find someone as crazy as you to be your partner, and Io was like, I know who to find, sort of thing. And honestly, if it's Io and Kaylee Ray, nobody should beat them, right? Like, that should be the team that wins. But
yeah, but then they're going to probably lose to Toxic Attraction.
Ugh, gross. Next match, we had the Creed brothers in the Dusty Cup finals. They defeated MSK, and what I thought was a pretty good match as well. I have liked some Creed performances better than this, but I thought this was pretty good. It was an interesting...
Are they still wearing pajamas?
Not this time, no. Interesting contrast to styles. I was hoping for a bit more. Under-delivered slightly, but I think it was a fine match. The finish only involved Julius, right? Because we'd heard they're kind of high on Julius. So it was just him. He slammed Carter and then hit the low diving clothesline thing.
That's so lame.
In a 9.5 minute match. So, yeah, because it was usually both the Creeds involved, right? But it was just Julius here. But anyways... a pretty entertaining match. I didn't like it as much as Grimes and Hayes, but it wasn't a bad match. Creeds are really good, man. They've got a ton of potential. And MSK, I don't know where you go with them, right?
Speaking of Diamond Mine potential.
Yeah.
Tyler Rust.
He's good, yeah. Then we get Nikita Lyons segment. You can add dancing to the list of things that she's great at.
That's what I saw.
Yeah. Her dad told her that she was sent to bring people together, so she should stop beating people up. Basically, and she will be in action next week.
Why is she wrestling then?
I don't know. But because the highlights of her fighting and training look pretty good. I think she's actually doing a pretty good job with what she's been given. I'm interested to see her in the ring because the training sections with MMA make her look pretty tough. But it's the dramatic reenactments of her childhood, as she describes it, that I find are really annoying. But I think her delivery and her confidence are pretty good. So it's one of those, like, they're writing kind of stuff I don't like for her, but I don't think she's doing a bad job. But anyways, Imperium give what I thought was a dud of a promo in the ring. They get interrupted by Solo Sikoa, who sounded actually really good. He doesn't think the ring is sacred, and it looks like he's going to fight Walter. But, like, Walter was wearing, like, a golf shirt or a polo shirt, and he just looked so not intimidating, and he's getting skinnier by the minute, right? So it's like... fit Walter wearing a golf shirt. I don't know, it just did not work for me at all. I thought Eichner didn't sound good. Walter looked the least tough I've ever seen him. And Bartel, when he was speaking, got the what treatment, which is never a good sign. I actually thought Sikoa sounded better than everybody else involved. And I heard rumors of maybe Usos coming to NXT again.
That's dumb.
So that would put Sikoa probably involved somehow.
Oh,
right?
It's them versus Imperium.
Right.
Oh.
Doesn't that seem like it?
That's sucks.
Mackenzie talks to Ziggler. He's been kicking down the door to Ciampa's home, and he will be watching the main event tonight. Sure, fine. Carmelo and Trick Williams are backstage. They say Grimes is good, but Mello was great. Pete Dunne comes by, says congratulations on being the North American champion still for now. So I think that's where we're going with that, and I'm fine. That should be a cool program for Dunne and Hayes.
What was the triple threat earlier? It was Dunne, Gargano, Hayes, right? Remember, like a little while ago? It was Gargano,
Yeah,
right?
I think that's right, yeah.
Okay.
Main event, Braun Breaker, no surprise, defeats Santos Escobar to retain the NXT Championship in a solid but unspectacular main event. I preferred the Ciampa Breaker match. I thought it was considerably better than this, but the fact that the result was kind of in doubt in that one, whereas this one, they've already planned Breaker versus
Ciampa versus
Ziggler, right? So there was no way, and that kind of
50-50 booking. See, you got to have the third Breaker Ciampa match.
It kind of hurt this for me a little bit. I found the first few minutes slow, but then I thought it lacked drama again, because there's no universe Escobar's winning. But Ziggler showed up, super kicked Braun for an Escobar near fall. We then get the spear, the straps down, and Breaker hits his gorilla press power slam for the win.
I saw he was wearing a tiger singlet, which is kind of cool.
After 12 minutes, I think Braun's good, honestly. I think he's good, and I think he's a good fit as the champion for 2.0. And honestly, his speed is the impressive thing for me. Of course, he's powerful, right? You look at him, and there's no doubt he's going to be a powerhouse, but it's his speed that is impressive for me. He probably will be a star. I think he needs some mic work and character work, but in the ring, he's totally fine.
He needs to get out.
He's exactly what they want for a 2.0 champion. I don't have a big problem with it. It was a fairly good match, nowhere near as entertaining as Grimes Hayes.
Exactly what they want for a champion sounds kind of insulting.
A little bit. Because obviously, they have better people like Ciampa and Dunne, but that's not who they want.
Dunne.
Right? So, anyways, overall, decent episode. In ring, only the women's tag match was questionable. All the other were somewhat entertaining. Loved Grimes Hayes. I think that Waller and Knight did a good job with their lengthy segment, and most of the other things were kept short. And it was a wrestling heavy episode, but I mean, they still snuck in a Briggs Jensen segment. So I gave it a C+, pretty close to a B- actually. Really
it's
like
funny that a good NXT is C+.
Right. Really liked the Grimes match. People should check that out. Other stuff I watched this week. So today I'll do Impact really quick. Moose and Morrissey contract signing. Basically, Moose came out and thought that Morrissey wasn't going to show up, etc., etc. Morrissey shows up and ends up, after teasing each person doing it, he choke slams Moose off the stage through a table and then signs the contract and throws it on Moose.
Wait, the table was outside the ring?
So they were on the stage and then they slammed off the stage to a table on the floor. Choke slam.
Oh, I thought they were in the ring.
No. Really good X Division triple threat between Ace Austin, Blake Christian, and Laredo Kid. Honestly,
Trey Baxter.
He's back, yeah. Honestly, felt like a showcase for him. He did a lot of cool stuff. He had a top rope Spanish fly as well. Ace Austin got the win here. He hit the fold to Blake Christian immediately after Christian had hit
I like the fold.
A top rope flipping double stomp, basically, that looked pretty cool to Laredo Kid.
I feel like he did that in NXT.
Laredo Kid looked a bit out of sync with people at the beginning of this match, and it seemed like Blake Christian was kind of directing him around the ring a little bit, but then, I mean, it ended up being a really good, standard X Division triple threat. I think it was my favorite match. Only other notables I had was Masha Slamovich squashed a jobber with a really sick-looking burning hammer, followed by her Russian, I think it's called the Russian death device. So they're just giving her the Wardlow treatment right now. But for me, it's a little bit different because she's brand new to the company, right? Where Wardlow we've watched kind of be a mid-carder for a couple years, and now all of a sudden he's killing.
Well, and it's the same thing every week, I feel like.
Right. Whereas Slamovich is new, so they're establishing her. I think she looks awesome. And then, remember, I don't know if you saw one of the little vignettes teasing her arrival, but the quintessential diva, Giselle Shaw. Anyways, she made her debut. I'd never heard of her, or I've heard of her only in those vignettes. I didn't know who she was. So she made her Impact debut. I thought she had a pretty good match against Lady Frost. So Shaw, she's doing wants all the attention and the spotlight. That's basically her gimmick. She's the quintessential diva.
Smoke show.
But then she looked really aggressive with her strikes. She hit a top rope Spanish fly.
Wow.
It's too bad that Blake Christian had just hit one in the match before. But anyways, and she hit I think it was basically Tiffany Stratton's that corkscrew Vader bomb splash that actually looks pretty impressive too. So I was impressed with Shaw in her debut. For example, and I'm not trying to be mean, but I just don't see it. Chelsea Green was in a tag match with Mickie James later in this show, and I found this Giselle Shaw much more interesting to watch than Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green just doesn't do it for me. I don't quite. She's missing something. She feels like one of those wrestlers like Natalia, where we say like she knows some wrestling moves, right? But it doesn't mean she's a good wrestler, right?
Yeah.
She knows how to deliver some offense, but that doesn't mean she's good.
Right.
Anyways, but I think Shaw and Slamovich look like they could be nice additions to that roster. Those were really the only things that stood out to me. The rest was like, I don't know, Kenny King fought Sabin, and what was you expect? And like Violent by Design, Face Bullet Club, like it was nothing that really interesting. Then Rampage, Cole beat 10 in a pretty good match. Cole helped make 10 look like a powerhouse in this one, as you would expect, right? Serena Deeb won another 5-minute challenge with a power bomb and a Serenity Lock in like 2 minutes, I think it was. We talked about it. Hobbs beat Dante Martin, and I like this match. The contrast of styles, right? The powerhouse. Hobbs won with a spine buster.
Powerhouse Hobbs.
He won with a spine buster, which I thought was weird, but he
does use that though. At least.
Yeah, he does. He did look dominant for large stretches of this match, and like you said before, right? We've now got 3 powerhouses committed for the ladder match so far.
Mm-hmm.
Then, like I said, we had Jade in a cat suit with dollar signs all over it, and she wants her next opponent.
Yeah, she has like green hair now.
And Matt
Or,
Hardy.
like,
Oh yeah,
green.
I don't even think I noticed. Hardy comes out with Bunny to make quote unquote a money match. So I guess that's who Cargill kills.
If he
next.
wants to lose money, boom.
Right. And then Jay White defeated Trent Beretta with a Blade Runner in a good main event that got a lot of time, like 15 minutes or so. I thought the second half of it was really good. But White's he's got that deliberate pace, right? It's kind of interesting to me. I expected that outcome, but it was a good match, competitive. Both of them look good.
For Jay White versus
Trent
Eric Young tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, that's on tonight too. So that's going to bring me to the end of any other wrestling business. Do you have any other business to discuss?
I have no business because I am a dork.
And there is no figuring it out this week, right?
There is not. There was a bunch last week, but I am a dork.
Why are you a dork?
I have nothing.
You got nothing? It was all me in any other business this week.
Yeah.
Just watch some random wrestling and talk about it sometime, Check out
I started watching The Middle again.
That's not wrestling though.
No, it's not.
It's a TV show.
That's
but
what
it's
I started watching.
But I guess that's going to bring us to the end of 83, right?
Indeed.
Okay, so a bit shorter, not bad. Still over 2 hours. There's no way we're not talking for 2 hours.
I don't think we can ever go under 2 hours ever again.
It's been very rare, I think.
Ever since like the last time we did. I don't even know when, to be honest.
I don't think we're going to review Blood Money, right? Because I don't even know if I'm going to watch it.
I know everything.
You're already
spoiler,
spoiled?
Brock Lesnar won. I hate it.
What? Don't you've spoiled me. I might watch it. Well, I probably won't, but anyways.
You don't like
and
those
then
shows.
We've got. I might check out the Impact pay-per-view.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Maybe we'll find time to talk about it.
Rather watch that than Blood Money.
It is a long weekend here where we live, so we might
Blood
have
Money's actually a good pay-per-view name, though. I'm gonna save that.
Nice. Oh yeah, are you gonna use that? But anyways,
I have a list of names, just back catalog.
So there's a chance we'll put out something, or I'll put out something. Could be a solo mission, could be with Jack about Impact, but I wouldn't count on it. If you see it there, it'll be a pleasant surprise.
We do have a long weekend, so I mean, if we wanted to, we have more time.
But we'll definitely be back for episode 84 next Saturday. And I guess until then, everybody, take care.